there's a sentiment that people are expressing about this stuff, and we don't have to go into fucking MCU Spider-Man too much, but I think there's some new news around. So
I have no energy, so I don't know how much I'll give a shit
We
about
can
Spider-Man. But
yeah. There's too much. Fucking Hassan duked everyone.
I
This
know, it's
morning.
hilarious. That was the funniest thing ever. I didn't want to give him attention, but it was funny.
He got fucking he was people were reporting on him, and I was like, oh shit, you might want to change your username because he kept it for a while, but yeah.
But yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to Fanboy Talk. This is Troy Boy 17 coming at you live, and I'm joined by my co-host Mithi, also known as Film Caffeine.
Hello. Is the thing recording? I don't see like the yellow bar thing around it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Usually I see the yellow bar around. It says it's recording.
Yeah, you heard the little robot lady. She was like, now recording.
Now recording. Do you miss Craig?
No, I do not.
There's a part.
No, I absolutely do not miss Craig.
There's a part of me that
you didn't have to deal with the bullshit of doing the Craig stuff, and then and then one of the people in our group not talking during that section, so I didn't have anything to base them off of. So I had to base it off of when they made a joke and when people laughed.
Yeah,
that's what I had to base it off of.
And that's what we call innovative editing.
That's what we call.
That's the bullshit. That's the bullshit term of like
it's about drive. It's about power.
Yeah, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
But how's it going, Mithi? How you doing?
Not too bad. Put up a video finally after way too fucking long.
Yeah, you did, so and it's a good video.
People are liking it.
He didn't put up some trash. He put up something good. Look at that.
To go through one of the comments, someone said,
I could do that. That'd be nice.
"Holy shit, bro! Who asked?" That was one comment.
Is that really?
That was actually CJ on someone else's comment.
Of course.
Another comment I got, the first comment I got in the video was from a bot that replies with like the 00 time code and then like does something. What is that? Because I'm seeing that on every video now. Is that a new thing?
I have no idea. The spam bots are being weird. I don't understand them. There's a new style of spam bot that's like more traditional spam bot, and it's nice to see those again. But like there's a type of spam bot that is literally you're right, it's just 000 like the time code, and then like fantastic
XX checkout
or like
something,
like a fucking some buzzword, and it's like, what is the gain here? There's no link, there's no like trickery here. What is the point of us? Is it? I don't know. I don't understand them.
But the thing is, they're going on all videos. It's not just like a small creators who don't have any filtrations for that. No. It's everyone.
Yeah. Although I do find them mostly just on new videos. They don't show up on older like backlog videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a new upload thing. It's like people who have notifications probably. There's something with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should know these things because I'm a programmer, but I don't because I'm bad programmer.
Nobody understands the YouTube stuff. Their thing is so like overly complicated. It's weird.
Because I mean, the thing with YouTube is that you're just appending applications on top of applications. Everything is a patch of another patch.
Yeah.
So even Shorts, I'm assuming the backend for Shorts is just completely fucked.
Oh god,
where it's like it's just like bandages on top of bandages of patch coding. So I don't know. Another person commented, "But the billionaires," which that person is a fucking dumbass. Just gonna say right now. But yeah,
definitely don't want to be on a podcast with him. That's for sure.
No, that would be
for those listening at home. That was me. I left that comment.
Yeah, and he was a bitch. And
I didn't want to leave a nice comment. I was too nice to you about this video for the past month. I've been singing this video's praises. Your fucking ego is exploding. Your head's getting too big. I got to bring you back down to earth a little bit.
You said billionaires, and billionaires is a key word that's going to push it in.
There you go. You're going to get all the Elon Musk fans.
Yeah, I love them. They come and give me a Cybertruck, please. But that's what I've been doing. What else have I been doing?
What have you been doing?
What else have I been doing?
Yeah.
I watched Dune. I'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about Dune a bit because I also watched Dune.
What else did I do? I watched. You know what's funny about Dune? I watched Mission Impossible Fallout the night before just to make sure my standards for movie making was like high as fuck, and I was still impressed by Dune.
I was worried while I was watching it. I was like, do I like this, or have I just been watching too many fucking superhero movies?
Yeah, and like, that's why I watched Mission Impossible Fallout. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know because with I watched Mission Impossible Fallout, and I'm gonna try to go through the whole sextology, heptology, sex movies. I don't fucking know.
Sexology.
Sex Education season 3. No, I think there's a style of movie making that's going away, Oh,
Smashed my mic. I just punched my microphone. I'm so sorry.
I really hope you keep that in.
I'm looking at the waveform. That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Really? I'm so sorry, everybody.
I can't hear it on my side, so I really hope you keep it in. Just
like
for me
it
to
is
see.
like it was like a peak. That was a big.
I'll do
thing.
it too, just to make
no.
I scared you for a second.
You did.
No, I think we talked about it a bit last time, probably a little bit at length about like the fucking style of movie making going away and shit like that.
We talked about it like a lot. We talked about it
a lot for like 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a shorter episode, I think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a ton
but I don't know.
to go into.
Watching movies like Mission Impossible, I've also been assembling my list of like movies to watch before the Batman. And please, if you guys have like a list of movies that you think I need to watch before the Batman, right now,
my suggestion would be the Apes trilogy.
My big thing was the Apes trilogy. I put some stuff that because my main lens was I want to see stuff that Greg Fraser shot. I want to see stuff that Matt Reeves directed, and I want to see stuff that Robert Pattinson was like peaked here in. So right now on that list, I don't have a lot, and I need to update more in the list. But I have Good Time. I have Dune. I already watched Dune. I have Lion. Yeah, which I have Lion. That joke went over my head.
Twilight 1 through 5. Twilight.
Yeah, I have Twilight. I actually don't have Twilight, but maybe I should just for the fun of it.
You gotta get the lore.
Yeah,
it's gonna be canon.
I have Good Time. I think I have High Life in there and Cosmopolis. Yeah, and then I have Cloverfield. I don't know how the Cloverfield movies work.
I need to watch Cloverfield. I have seen 0 of them, but I feel like I would like them.
I don't know anything about them, so I don't want to know anything about them, and I just want to go in blind. I think
basically they're effectively anthology things. Like they're so loosely connected, which I really dig that. I think more movies need to be like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I just know Lizzie Kaplan is in the first one, and I'm like, huh? Okay, cool. So I don't know. I'm gonna check them out at some point.
I know Lizzie Kaplan from something, but I don't want to look up what.
Now You See Me. It's Now You See Me. That's what it is. It's
there
Now
it is.
You See Me. Yeah,
of course.
I should watch Now You See Me again, man.
They're good movies.
It's been so long. Those are
good
amazing movies.
They're great.
Those are
bangers.
Really good movies. They announced a third one, and then that Twitter account for Now You See Me just keeps tweeting random bullshit.
I know, I love it. It's
look
so
at
funny.
Jesse Eisenberg being cute, and I'm like, look at the Twitter account not fucking announcing anything for the third movie.
I'll bet you COVID stuff happened and they had to delay it a good amount, or maybe I don't think it got canceled, but like
I don't think it's getting canceled. I think it's just in writing development hell, and then once COVID stuff slows down, they're gonna
What if instead of a third movie they do like an animated series type thing? That'd be kind of fun.
I'd be kind of down for that. I think a third movie.
What company is it?
I don't know. Lionsgate? No.
Is it Sony? I feel like it's Sony. They give me Sony vibes.
I think it might be Sony. 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 Where is it? Summit Entertainment. Is that Lionsgate? I think that's Lionsgate.
All I know is Summit Ice is the Nathan Fielder's.
It's a label of label of Lionsgate. Okay. So it is Lionsgate, which.
I find it so weird that Sony still doesn't have a streaming service. Of all the companies, I feel like they need one the most. Like, but granted, I don't want one. Granted, I don't want it.
How would they compete with Marvel with the Spider-Man stuff? Would they just put like MCU Marvel Spider-Man stuff?
MCU Spider-Man. Well, I guess maybe Disney would have because Homecoming and Far From Home aren't on Disney Plus.
They're not. No, they're not.
I guess I don't think they would just be like, we're Spider-Man. We're Spider-Man. We're
but they can't brand. I would assume
Ghost Rider.
That. They can't brand it with any like MCU stuff though. Like the poster would have to be just...
But they could Toby and Andrew and Venom and Sony's got a good library, and like then there's also Spectacular. They could I'm sure there's something with the rights there.
Who's releasing the Bond movies? Because that's a whole thing too. I mean, a lot of them are. There's
a whole subset. It's so interesting how like we have this like these streaming wars. And there's this whole subsection of the film landscape that is just untouched by that.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe they should use that to their advantage and just focus on theater productions. Maybe. And just be like, okay, while all these... while Warner Brothers is taking all of their stuff to HBO Max, we are the only thing putting all of our stuff exclusively in theaters. But that's a very high risk bound.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to move a little bit.
That's a very high risk.
Zendaya.
Yeah. I guess Zendaya. Why them? And what? Like,
why them? I think they said why Venom. I was like,
why
I don't know.
Venom? Well, Like,
it is weird. It's a weird, like, it's such a strange.
Because Timothée Chalamet doesn't look like Timothée Chalamet. I mean, kind of, but it's just
we're talking, by the way, for audio listeners, we're talking about my background. My background is Timothy and Zendaya from Dune in Fortnite.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know. It gives me the same vibe as the Wheel of Time guy.
Where
it's like, what the fuck?
Kaladin,
like, is there really that much overlap between Dune fans and Fortnite players?
The thing is with Kaladin, and I talked to Scribe about this. That was just a thing of what's his name, Brandon Sanderson. Was just friends with the guy who was like in charge of Fortnite. So they're like, here's a fun little thing. Whereas with this, it's very much a market ploy. Yeah. So I'm like, are you trying to get Fortnite people to watch Dune?
I don't know.
Audience is there's not a lot of overlap there. Yeah,
it's so funny, and maybe it's just to like the appeal of Zendaya and Timothy. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But
how much is Timothy really appealing to?
Maybe not Timothy, probably not. But
because like Zendaya, Call Me by Your Name is R-rated. I guess Little Women, but he's barely in that movie. What are some big like PG-13 like oh my god Timothée Chalamet movies? They just know him because he's in
rated
stuff.
R, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like. I mean, he's gonna be in the MCU eventually. He's gonna fucking play Harry Osborn. You know he's
gonna play Harry Osborn. I'm fine with that. Honestly,
I'm actually okay with that. I've never seen him in a movie up until Dune, and I was like, I don't really get it, but now I get it. He's a pretty good actor, and I like him.
Yeah. I want to watch Beautiful Boy. People have been telling me to watch Beautiful Boy. I need to watch Beautiful Boy. That movie looks really good. That's the Steve Carell, and his endgame partner from The Office. What's her name? Amy something.
The girl from she's in
Amy Ryan. I think Amy Ryan. Steve Carell and Amy Ryan. I'm gonna look this up.
Good question. She's
Amy
Ryan. The funny girl, right?
Yes, Amy Ryan.
Yeah,
Amy Ryan. She's in
Only Murders,
Lost
which
Girls.
I finished that. We finished the first season of that. The Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it and shit because it is a good show.
Mm.
I kind of didn't like the season finale.
Really?
I kind of really disliked it. For a lot of like bitter reasons.
There's a season 2, right?
So it's so annoying. The show starts with its like hook opening of like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Oh, holy shit, whoa. That is the season 1 cliffhanger. They don't actually resolve that in season 1. And they constantly refer back to that thing in like other like editing things like of like flash forwards and stuff to be like, oh, what's gonna happen? But then they never resolve it in the season, and it's so fucking like weird. And I just really dislike that like tactic, you know? It just feels really gross. Because it's not even like a thing that they set up like midway through. It is the opening shot of the show. The opening shot of the show turned out to be the fucking cliffhanger. It's like it's just so weird to me. And then also just like the way they handle
part of that's
this
just
mystery.
Advertising or
no, it wasn't advertising. It was just the fucking just the way they're structuring the show. It's really weird, you know.
That's weird.
And then I really don't like that the show is a mystery. Like that's the whole thing, you know. But like as a mystery, it kind of fucking sucks because like to me, a good mystery is something that you can like feasibly have solved if you were paying the right amount of attention to the right clues, you know.
Yeah.
And this is like a mystery in that, oh, we don't know who did it. Here's some clues, and we're gonna follow these clues, and then oh, it turns out those are wrong, and then oh no, here's a new clue that completely you know.
Yeah.
But all the other previous clues become irrelevant because of this one new clue, you know.
Yeah.
There's never like a scene of like, oh, like it doesn't feel like a proper mystery. It just feels like a thriller where the people don't know what's going on and they just find, you know. Does that make sense?
That's why people love Knives Out so much, I think.
Yeah, Knives Out is a proper fucking mystery, and I love that movie.
And I really can't wait for the sequel just because I know the way that it only comes from when you're a writer-director, like both at the same time. Because you understand what things you're filming now lead to what things you're filming later, and then you arrange those in a very particular way.
And I like that it's like a fucking it's like an anthology thing. I'm a sucker for anthology shit. Where just like it's using the same branding and maybe one of the characters, and then everything else is completely new. I fucking love that. And obviously, I'm sad Ana de Armas isn't in it, but like,
because she was good.
She was great. She was the best fucking character.
Yep.
But like, it's also really fresh, and it's like, I don't know. It's really cool. I really do that.
It's a very loaded
speaking of her,
cast.
did you watch? Have you seen the new Bond?
I want to so bad.
I have not
but
either.
I haven't gone to
want
theaters. I'm just waiting for it to come on digital somewhere, and then I'll fucking pick it up right away because I just want to sit down and
rule is like
watch
if I can't monetize it, if I can't make content out of it, I shouldn't go risking my life in the movie theater.
Yeah, you know? I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I don't know, COVID rates haven't been amazing where I am, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay at home, and then once things get better, I'll go see No Way Home. Definitely in theaters.
Yeah, and that's gonna suck for me. I'm gonna fucking hate that. I have to go to the fucking midnight premiere.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get a friend over.
I think too. That's gonna be even worse.
Yeah,
because here where I live, everybody's pretty good. Like there's vaccination requirements and everything. Yeah. But fuck, where I'm from is like Southern California, fucking Republic. It's like hardcore conservatives are everywhere down there. Yeah. So that's gonna be really shitty.
When I went to go see Shang-Chi in theaters. There were a good amount of people with masks. There were some without masks. Like you could tell that they were like, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna end up having to buy like 10 tickets, I think. Like just surround myself.
Yeah, that's a smart option. Expensive option.
Yeah. I'll go to like the cheap theater or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I mean, Christian was talking about drive-ins a lot, and like, if
that's the other option
that
too.
should be more of a thing.
Like drive-ins are so weird because it's like, yeah, you'd think that they would have blown up with COVID, but they didn't. Because like licensing, they just no studio licensed their movies out of them. It's really fucking gross.
And I feel like that's a scene for indie movies to really shine. Yeah. Especially with COVID, is if you can just sell your things to maybe even exclusively drive-in theaters or something, you know, and just make it a special thing. I feel like it shouldn't be as expensive as selling it to like the big AMCs.
No, probably not.
So I don't know. I don't know why they haven't tapped into
that'd be a cool thing to like if you're a local filmmaker. Like drive-in should let you screen your film for like one night, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah. What else did you do?
Like we started watching The Circle, that reality show. We watched the first episode today.
Oh, I only know about the one Emma Watson movie that came out like
that one's based on a book, and that book is terrible. Okay. I read the book for college. That was like as a freshman. That book is awful. That book is trash, and I can only assume the movie's no better.
Even worse. Yeah. I just remember seeing the trailer for it on a bunch of like promoted stuff whenever
it was weird. Watch, like, it's one of those things that's like it's like it tries to be like dystopian future technology bad, but it doesn't actually address what makes some of these social medias bad. You know. Yeah. And it's just really weird.
That's kind of my thoughts on mainstream too, which I really want to make a video on mainstream. I've just been thinking about it a lot more, and I don't know. Maybe I will, but
do it.
But yeah, did you remember that Logan Paul like dystopian test for future movie
Thinning,
or
baby.
whatever? The Thinning. Yeah. Did they make a sequel to that too?
They did, and it didn't and they had to delay it because of all his shit. It happened at the same time. Man, fuck Logan Paul. That was so fun.
Yeah. Good for him and his Pokemon cards.
What else did I fucking do? We watched we watched Scream 3 and 4. Those were cool. Scream 3 is rough. Scream 3 is not great. I don't really dig it. It felt like it literally kind of felt like a slapstick comedy, which like the Scream, like the original Scream is like top tier, great fucking movie. Scream 2 is like okay, it's good, it's cool. Scream 3 felt like a fucking like the Scary Movie parodies, you know, just the way that the characters acted. Like people would like roll down hills in like a comedic fashion, and like the twist was just kind of lame.
Was it still taking itself seriously?
Yeah, it was.
That's weird.
It was just really fucking weird. Scream 4 was cool. It was like trying to be a reboot, but it also like didn't really go fully into it, you know? Like, but there's a fun little intro with that, with like subversion, and it's pretty meta and stuff, and it's kind of cool. Don't have a ton to say about that. I still think the first movie is like peak horror movie.
That's the Matthew Lillard one, the first one? Or is that?
Yeah.
Okay,
he's great. And there's a chance he might show up in this new one. Yeah. Like there's a rumor that he might.
The new one is 5, right?
Yeah, 5. Okay, yeah. But it's just called Scream, which that's the really weird thing. So Scream 4 was Scriff Forum. Like they did a fan 4 stick and they replaced the A with the 4. Love that. But so it was called that. So it was just called Scream 4. But then in the movie they talk so much about reboots. Their whole thing is like, oh, it's about a reboot. It's a reboot. It's a reboot. But it's like it's not a reboot. It's not. It's the 4th one. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's like, I feel like Scream 5 is going to try and do the same thing. Because like the point of Scream is that they're like kind of they're meta narratives about film and about the landscape, and I'm trying to think about what the meta narrative could be with this fifth one.
What if instead they replaced the S with a 5? So
oh my god, that'd be hilarious! That'd be hilarious.
5 cream.
I think Olivia said that the M dips a little bit lower to look like a V, so that might be what they're doing.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I just know Jack Quaid's in it, and
and Jenna Ortega's in it from The Babysitter 2.
Yeah, that's what everyone's screaming about, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
But
like, I'm just trying to think like what their meta narrative could be for this, like what their commentary is going to be, because it's like they already did reboots, so is it going to be like on superhero movies, or is it going to be on like, because that'd be really fucking funny if it's like a commentary on like the corporate side, like
especially if you have the guys from The Boys. It's like, okay,
yeah, like I feel like there's something they could do about how movies have become too corporate and like I guess that's kind of what Scream 3 was. Scream 3 was about studios and stuff, so it's like I don't know what they can do without treading back on what they've already said, you know. But it looks cool, it looks fun. We watched Halloween. We watched the original and then the 2018 one, and we're gonna watch Kills tonight.
I've heard things about Kills from lots of people.
Very bad things about Kills, and I'm very excided because it looks terrible.
I haven't watched any of the Halloween movies. I've watched clips, and I don't know.
I haven't resonated with a horror movie like this as much as
really?
I did with the original, because it's like my thing with horror movies is I fucking hate jump scares because I just think they're cheap and like I understand the purpose of them, but like they usually come across as very cheap, and like they don't really instill like proper fear, you know. This movie the original movie is fucking creepy, and that's the shit that I'm really, my nose is very itchy right now, I apologize. The original movie is so fucking, it's scary because it's like it doesn't like we watched all these like other slasher movies like Scream and what was the other one, like Freaky and Happy Death Day. Those are like so outlandish, like, and trying so hard to scare you by making the guy do all these crazy things and like kill people in like super outlandish ways and like cut people up, and they're super gory and they're super crazy and stuff. The original Halloween is just a dude with a knife that just walks into people's houses and stabs them. It's like it's this very like real feeling thing, you know.
It's the thing of looking out your window and you just see a guy there.
It literally, it's like it feels like an actual horrifying thing that would happen in real life. It's just a guy in the original. He just killed like 3 people, which like from horror movie standards, oh, that's kind of fucking lame. But from a realistic standpoint, oh, it's a guy that fucking killed 3 random babysitters. That's horrifying, you know. It like feels like a true crime thing, and like I really really liked that. It just felt so like and again, he didn't run, he didn't like do anything crazy, he just walked and stuff. It was really cool. And like the way that he would enter scenes was always based on the camera. Like you were scared when the camera would turn, because he never it was really cool, he never enters the frame.
You'd be scared when you see darkness, because it could just be like, because there's that one shot where he like comes out of the shadows, right?
Basically, like, but he very rarely he will ever enter the frame. Like he will never step into the shot. Is that the camera will turn and he will be there. And it's this very smart tactic of like, it makes you afraid of every time the camera turns, every time it cuts to another thing, because it's just like, it almost feels like the camera is like an accomplice, if that makes sense. And like, I really, really liked that.
That's a very smart way to analyze it.
It's really cool. I really,
over that.
And granted, it might have just been the fucking limitations of the budget and shit, because that was a pretty small budget movie.
But sometimes that's the thing. I mean, you see it from stuff like horror movies. You see it in stuff like fucking Batman the Animated Series, where you take your limitations and you do stuff with it, you know?
And like, that's kind of why... So we also watched the 2018 one, which is... It's kind of fun. It's like, it's just a direct sequel to the 78 one. They just skip all the other ones, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
But I liked the 2018 one a good amount. I actually really, really enjoyed it. But like, it tries really hard to be a modern horror movie at the same time. Like... There's weird comedy bits in there, which like the first movie wasn't funny. Like it didn't try to make you laugh and stuff. But this has like comedic moments, which is just like kind of weird. But then also like Michael will just like do like these things to gross out the audience. Like he just takes somebody's teeth and he drops them in front of somebody's in the bathroom stall just to be like a scary movie guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's a little much, Michael.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to just be a dude with a knife.
The thing I've heard from people is that they try to turn him into Jason, kind of.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Friday.
Like he's a creepy dude. I haven't seen them either, but like I know he's more of a like I guess out there kind of figure. Whereas Mike Myers is just a dude with the kitchen knife, going everywhere.
And like they do cool stuff with it, and they like the whole stuff with Laurie's PTSD is really, really great, and like how it like influenced her family. I really, really like that. But then it's just like, oh, and then also Michael like fucking splits a guy's head open, and like just it's like I'm fine with gore. Gore's not a thing that like bothers me too much, except in like Midsommar, because Midsommar was horrific about it. Have you seen Midsommar?
I have seen the ending to Midsommar, and that's it.
So you haven't seen it.
I have not seen Midsommar. No.
There's a shot in Midsommar of somebody's head getting smashed, and it is the grossest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it's burned into my memory the way they do it. Just like the prosthetics. I love it. But like it's just it's I'm cool with gore usually, but it's like this gore felt like it was trying to appeal to a modern audience that I don't really know exists. Because it's like
these movies,
who is going to go see a Halloween movie and not have seen the original at this point, you know? Like who's going to be like, oh, because it's like the original's fucking short as hell. It's an hour and a half. You know, just like, especially if this is a direct sequel to that, I don't really know what the point of trying to appeal to like, you know what I'm saying?
New marketers
like Blumhouse. It felt like a Blumhouse movie because it is a Blumhouse movie. If like it's like in that kind of fashion, and it was just kind of weird to me.
Yeah,
but still a good movie. Still a very good movie. Like I think I really enjoyed it. Judy Greer's in it. She's really cool. She's really fun.
Yeah.
I love Judy Greer.
I remember someone saying that since Paul Rudd was in one of these movies, it'd be funny if like
Paul Rudd.
It'd be funny if Paul Rudd and Judy Greer were just in the movies together, and then you'd see all the Marvel fans go like, "Oh my god, Ant-Man!" and
oh my god, wait, who's she in? Wait, who the fuck's Judy Greer?
She's Ant-Man's ex-wife.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the main reason I knew who
that
Judy
implies
Greer was.
that implies that I have to fucking watch Ant-Man and the Wasp more than one time. I don't remember Ant-Man that much. I'm sorry. Edgar Wright, you wrote a good script. Edgar Wright wrote a great script, and then fucking they butchered it.
What if he comes back for like fucking Ant-Man 4 or whatever? That'd be kind of fun.
They fucked him up. He's mad. He's like
they said so. But
Edgar is this close to being canceled on Twitter for saying something mean about Marvel. He is this close to being martyred.
Yeah,
like it's
maybe.
Because like they fucked him over really bad. He was really excited to do that movie.
Because I know Feige said something about how we are still on talking terms or something, and I'm like, okay,
Kevin, I don't believe
maybe not. Yeah,
I definitely don't believe Kevin after what he's fucking doing with Ms. Marvel.
That's
my
true.
segue.
Oh,
that's my segue.
Are we gonna talk about this now?
Do you want to talk about that now?
Boy,
or do we want to talk about Dune first? No, we can save Dune for later. I don't have a ton to say.
Let's talk about Dune at the end. Let's end on a nice note. Let's talk about bullshit. Fucking.
So for anyone who doesn't know, there have been leaks and rumors for a while about this Ms. Marvel show.
Basically First based on fan art, which was like the fan art came out as like a leak thing, right? Yeah. And people were like, no way. Yeah.
But then one of these things has been confirmed true as of late. But so basically the leaks were saying that she, instead of having Ms. Marvel Kamala has like embiggening powers and stuff, that's her thing. Basically the leak was that she was not going to have that and was instead going to have like Green Lantern style energy construct, like hard light powers and stuff, as like a replacement.
To be more in line with Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
right?
Is that so? We don't know the reasoning for sure yet. But that was the leak, and there was some other stuff that leaked, which we can talk about. But like that has basically been confirmed officially, right? Because that was an official poster.
Yeah, that was an official poster, and then I think either one of the writers or someone came out and said we changed it for the reason to adapt it more to closer to Captain Marvel. I think.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
I haven't heard that part. But yeah, so there was some official artwork and official poster basically confirming that. And I think it's pretty fucking stupid. I think that it's pretty fucking dumb. Are you a big Ms. Marvel guy?
I read the thing is, you don't get a lot of Indian representation in comics, and she's not Indian, she's Pakistani.
Yeah.
But like for because I talked with Indian friends of mine who like read comics. For us, it was like, oh, it's close enough, I guess. Someone who has rough enough parents.
I love when the industry is so broken.
Yeah, yeah, you have to
enough.
look for that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then so I read a few of her comics growing up, and I'm like, this is nice because it's like, I mean, you feel like yourself. Her parents are kind of harsh on her. My parents are not fucking mean as hell, but they're Indian parents. They'll be harsh sometimes. And I'm like, I can kind of relate with this character a bit, right? And then the thing with the powers too was, it's a silly power, but the whole thing is she embraces that.
Exactly. It's
like
supposed
throughout the
to
course
be,
of the. And it's the idea that, okay, Captain Marvel is this crazy hero that she aspires to be, and then she looks at herself like, I want to just be like Captain Marvel. And then throughout the course of that story, especially when she has that vision where she turns into like old Miss Marvel, she's like, oh no, I don't want to really be like this. I want to be like my own hero. And then she becomes her own hero.
Yeah.
And I feel like they can still do that, probably.
But not as, I think it's not going to hit as hard.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm a big Ms. Marvel fan. I haven't read as much as I would like to. But I read the original run like years ago, and I fucking love it, and I love that character. And I think Kamala and I think Miles are the best two Marvel new Marvel characters of the past 20 years. I guess. Wait, when did Laura get introduced? Those three: Laura, Miles, and Kamala.
Which
best
you see
Marvel
them on
characters.
teams together.
They're great. But so I love the character and shit. It's such a weird like what you said. It's just this choice is just so against the whole point of the character.
Yeah.
In a way that's did you read the fucking comic? And I'm seeing all these people trying to defend it of oh my god, it looks so much cooler, or it's to make her more in line with Carol and Monica, and it's okay, you're proving you did not read the book, because that is the entire point. It's supposed to look stupid. It's supposed to look goofy as hell because she's insecure about it. If she looked cool, she wouldn't be insecure about it, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's supposed to not look like Captain Marvel. It's supposed to she's supposed to be visually completely different to emphasize the fact that it wasn't that she was born into it or whatever. Or it wasn't that she was it was that she chose the Ms. Marvel Legacy title because she was inspired by it, because it meant a lot to her. And it's just fucking weird to me that all these people are pretending to be Miss Marvel. All these people are pretending to be Miss Marvel experts, being
are you ready for
it's fine.
Yeah. Are you ready for the fucking Twitter hate, the Twitter mob to come after me particularly?
Go for it.
Here we go. Them changing the powers like this is a very Far From Home-esque decision.
It really is.
It is a very Far From Home-esque decision,
really
where the writers go, this would be cool instead of doing what we normally do, so let's do it. And normal audiences don't give a fuck and think it's awesome anyways.
Yep.
And comic book audiences go, why did you have to do that?
And it's a matter of this is the first time this character's been in live action too. So it's this is going to be a lot of people's first
what if this changes her in the comics?
I'm going to be kind of mad. I'm going to be really fucking pissed off. It's just so weird to me, because it's also have you heard the other leaks?
I have not heard that. I've only seen the poster, and I've only heard about that. I've heard some things that make me feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I heard some weird things that I don't know, but I don't know if they're true.
Yeah. So I don't know how real this is and stuff. I'm assuming this would be in the first episode, so semi-minor spoilers possibly. So you know how in the comics she gets her powers because she went out to go hang out with some white girls, against her against her parents and against her culture and stuff. And that's
same thing I did when I was in high school.
Love that. But that's kind of a part of her character arc where she's oh shit, she feels kind of guilty about it and stuff. This movie or this show is going to have her reportedly based on these leaks. Instead of going out to hang out with white girls, she is breaking into an Avengers museum.
Yeah.
It's a fangirly-esque
Did they get the wrong message from the game?
I think they did. When the game came out, I was like, oh fuck, I know people are gonna start thinking that this is what Kamala's like all the time when she's not.
And they are.
It's just and there's some other stuff too. Apparently one of the there's a really hardcore Trump supporter in the cast. I don't really know what the deal with that is.
Yeah, I heard about that where one of the her friends or something is the guy is a hardcore Trump supporter, but he's gonna be the sidekick character or whatever.
That's so.
And I'm that's such a weird. I don't know. Kamala is cool. The whole thing with Kamala, she was this cool character. and then now they're just gonna make her fucking like
Spider-Man.
a little worse version of Spider-Man. Yeah, and it's I don't understand why you have the real estate to do something different.
Yeah, and there's really no like reason that they're doing this. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't see that where the writers came out and said it was to make her more like Captain Marvel and stuff. That is a better reasoning than all the people saying it's to make her not like Mr. Fantastic. Because that's a stupid excuse. That's a stupid fucking excuse, because DC's over here running around with fucking like 15 stretchy guys all in movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Have you seen how many people throw shurikens in these movies?
Yeah, and there's fucking 2 Iron Mans running around. There's fucking like 15 people with super soldier serums. Yeah. Like, that's not how... Especially because it's like, she's not really stretchy. Like, she's kind of stretchy. She grows her body parts, Yeah, and it's goofy looking is the point.
I thought if they wanted to do like a thing to make it tie in with the MCU, they were gonna do like an Ant-Man thing, where like Paul Rudd was gonna show up, an accident was gonna happen, and then that's how she gets her powers or something.
Yeah, I think I'm assuming they're not gonna go the Inhumans route, and like I don't think they need to.
I'm assuming something is gonna happen in that Avengers facility that gives her powers, right?
Probably,
like she's gonna fucking punch a mist bomb, and then she's gonna get stretchy powers.
Or she's just gonna pick up some Stark tech.
Yeah.
What if it's that? Because it's based on
the bracelet thing or whatever.
Yeah, that's part of the leaks too. Is that it's from the bracelet. So it's like that also kind of kills a lot of the
that's
emotional...
worse than giving her power. That's
because then she could just take it off. Because that's the other thing too. It'd be like if Spider-Man's powers were solely web shooting. Yeah. You know, it's like
because the idea. I mean, the idea that I think Kamala and Spider-Man share, because they are inherently somewhat similar characters.
They're
both
both teenage characters that have like young, like the burden of the powers influence. They worsen their teenage lives and stuff. You know,
exactly. There's a burden of power, and then with that comes some kind of responsibility.
Yeah, I know about that.
The phrase.
I never heard that before.
Never heard that before. Yeah. So I don't know. The bracelet just means like, all right, I'll just go give it to my racist friend instead.
And
I guess.
Who's to say? Maybe it's going to be like a Ben 10 thing where it's like permanently bonded to her or something.
That would be better.
That would be better and shit. But it's like, I saw on Twitter this. It's just even just from a recognizability standpoint. Like I saw somebody did a fan edit of that poster, like changing the glowy little hand to like a real thing.
People put the WhatsApp logo on it to be like there's this thing where like a bunch of the Indian and Pakistani community use WhatsApp. Oh. And it's like just like the cringe memes in WhatsApp. Oh no. He's like the WhatsApp hero. It's so stupid. It was stupid. I thought it was funny, but it was stupid.
But I saw somebody they drew a hand. They drew the embiggened fist instead of this like Green Lantern construct thing. And like just instantly my heart was like, oh shit, that's Miss Marvel. Like, oh fuck, I love that character. Like it's just like you get the giddy excitement because it's like that's one of the most recognizable things about the character.
Yeah.
And it literally is if they decided to have Spider-Man not shoot webs, but just have like a grappling hook.
Yeah. Imagine if he shot like nets. He made like nets.
Not even that's even that. That's close enough. But it's if he had a Batman style grappling hook gun, where it's like, okay, he does the same thing, I guess, but it's not really the same. And you lose your recognizability, you know? Or even if Spider-Man didn't do his little hand thing. Like that's just an iconography type thing, you know?
Yeah. Or if they called his spider sense the Peter Tingle. What the fuck would that be? That would be so stupid.
Oh god.
It'd be so fucking stupid.
Man, I'm so glad they didn't
Imagine
do that.
if they did that. Yeah, I'm so glad too. Oh god.
But I'm just so worried about the show now. This was my most anticipated thing. Aside from What If, this and What If were my two most anticipated.
And now you're on a track for it to go down. Oh no!
Marvel saw the videos and they knew that these were the things that I was most excited for.
This
is
for you, Troy.
Yeah, it really is.
This is for you. I don't know with the whole Kamala Khan thing. I think the show is gonna be. We need to see more from the show, obviously. Yeah. It's going to come out next year, and we will see more from the show. Probably get like a fucking tease at the end of Hawkeye or whatever. I just don't know what they're going to try to tell with the story. And like now that they're not doing... Like, they don't have to do the comics exactly. Obviously, they don't want them
to do the comics exactly, because that's not the point.
Yeah, I made a fucking video about how you shouldn't do the comics exactly. Yeah. You don't do the comics exactly. But I feel like completely going the other way and then just changing shit... for no reason.
Yeah, there's a middle ground with comic accuracy. There's like, and this is what I always say. It's like comic accuracy doesn't fucking matter, but it's like the character accuracy and the themes of the character and stuff should and like it's just such a weird choice that makes me so concerned. My Nightwing logo disappeared for like a fraction of a second.
Back and out. Yeah.
But it's just such a strange thing, and it's like I don't get it, because there's like with Spider-Man at the very least, there is the excuse of like the rights, you know. There's the excuse that like, oh, they can't use Mary Jane because of the Sony deal and stuff.
She has to be whatever. Yeah.
So she has to be Zendaya from Dune, from Dune from Fortnite, and like, I like that is like I don't agree. I think there are other ways around those limitations, but we also don't know the like legal stuff with it, so it's like it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But like Marvel owns this character, and they own every aspect of it. There's nothing like that is limiting them. It is purely
you need to change. Yeah.
Yeah, it is purely from either a studio thing of like make her more like Spider-Man, because that's successful, or from a production standpoint of like we just want to be different from what makes the character special, and that's just so strange to me, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm trying to look more at the fucking Miss Marvel stuff on Twitter to see if they've released more like stuff about it, and I don't know. I get that they want to change stuff, but there needs to be a reason when you change stuff.
Yeah,
as of right now, there doesn't seem to be a real reason.
There really doesn't. No. Yeah, it is, and the reasons that I am seeing, either if that is official or theorized, are kind of against the point. Like it's like that's the whole point, you know. Like so there are probably some people listening who don't really get. I feel like we didn't really properly explain why the embiggening powers matter and stuff.
Yeah,
So in the story, in that first, it's mainly in the first arc, but it's kind of an ever present thing. She is like disappointed that her powers are like so goofy looking, that they look stupid, because they do look stupid. You know, that's kind of the point. And that she just makes her hands grow big, and they're awkward and they're clunky, and like that's a thing she kind of has to overcome and grow to love herself for. And then also like that she, like you said, she's not similar to Captain Marvel in a way, you know, and so that's another thing for her character arc, for her to grow and stuff.
And that's the other thing. You saw did you see the behind the scenes of her in the Captain Marvel suit?
No.
Where it's like there's like behind the scenes of her in the comics. There's that scene where she turns into Miss Marvel, and then over the time, I think fucking Ollie on Twitter was tweeting about this too, where he was talking about like I have the tweet right here too, where it's like she turns into a white woman basically, and she's learning about how this is not fitting me. This does not feel natural to me, so that this is not what I need to do. But like with this, it's just she's just wearing the cosplay. To like wear the cosplay. And it's like that's not this.
And it might be, we don't know, it's because we don't have Ms. Marvel in this universe. Like we never had Carol as Ms. Marvel. But it's like, why couldn't she have? Maybe she will in a scene. She will shapeshift into Brie Larson Carol or something.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. It's so weird to me. Like and like I don't want to like have this bad faith interpretation or anything. I don't want to like assume the worst from a production standpoint, because I do have to assume people working on this love the character, because pretty much everybody and their fucking mom loves this character. Anybody that has ever like the only people I can think of that hate this character are fucking.
They're getting people from Pakistan or from India or from Muslim heritage. They're getting the right people to write the story. Not to say that me like
I'm not to assume that everybody like of that culture loves Ms. Marvel or whatever.
No, of course,
but I feel like anybody that has read this character, it's like, oh yeah, this is a good, like anybody. You know, the only people that I can think of that like hate the character are fucking like the Quartering. You know, like comic skate type people. And it's just like, it's just such a she's such a great fucking character. And like I feel like the general consensus is that she is, and so it's like I have to assume that people working on it love her. So it's like, where did they go? What happened?
I wonder if so much of it is the Captain Marvel mandate, though, because my thing is, a lot of the reason for this show, I think in the back of my head, is just for that Marvels movie that they're making.
Maybe, yeah.
Where they're like, we just need to put her in this movie.
That's Nia DaCosta, and I have to assume she's at least read that first arc with Kamala.
But then I wonder too. It's like with the original comic and the comic run, it's so much less about Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, where she's just in it as like the figurehead. But really, I mean, in this case, it's just going to be replaced with the Avengers as a whole. And she's going to Captain Marvel. I would like it if she survived during the blip, So like we see a character who like survived during those 5 years, and like
cool.
she's from that. That would be a nice touch, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like the whole original story is about her getting away from Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, whereas the direction the show is going, based on what we've heard,
they're pushing
seems to be more pushing towards it. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I fucking hope that they don't do this thing where it's like she earns that independence. Yeah. That's kind of what they've been doing with Spider-Man. They have to have like a 3 movie long arc,
but he keeps working to earn the independence.
Yeah, and it's like I'm sick of characters having to earn their basic fundamentals, you know. Yeah, like from not even just from a visual standpoint.
We'll read the comics for those stories. You know, it's you don't need those stories can be told in different ways, and I mean that's what they're doing with Batman now. We've seen Batman fucking earn the right to be Batman so many fucking times, where and like now we're watching him discover it a bit more. That's different, you know.
Do you remember like in like 2015, 2014, where everybody like collectively was like, we're sick of origin movies, like we're tired of it. Because like all of them were traditionally like just ripping off Sam Raimi, like they were all the same format and stuff.
Yep, or like, Batman Begins.
Yeah. Like everybody was like doing the same structure and stuff. Yeah. I feel like the studios took that criticism and decided, okay, let's just extend the origin. We'll give them we'll give them the costume and the name at the start of their first movie, so it's not an origin movie like Homecoming. Homecoming's not an origin movie, but it kind of
But they
is.
Go through the same
but it's still but he's still learning. And then they stretch that period. They stretch the first act of the origin movie into like 4 movies.
How long do they is it just like a huge game like play for like
I don't know
fucking 10 years from now when like these characters finally get to tell?
Maybe it's their mindset is like that's the only way we can have like growth. You know, like you want to see growth, and you know, but like there's growth after
maybe that's the lesson they took from the X-Men movies, is because the X-Men movies didn't really do origins, other than the movie that did origins.
First Class, and First Class, baby.
and First Class.
Everybody forgets First Class.
But then I wonder if
everybody forgets First Class unless if they want to do a clout tweet about Darwin.
Yeah, and maybe which I will do October 31st.
And I'm gonna block you.
Watch out.
I'm gonna block you.
Watch out, everyone! That's my big announcement that I'm here to promote. October 31st. Make sure to block my Twitter account because I'm gonna go. It's really gonna be a horrifying day. It's gonna be worse than the Halloween movies. But I wonder if because Kevin Feige came from the X-Men movies, I wonder if that's a lesson that he took.
Maybe
of like. Origin movies can be done, but you have to do them differently. And if you're going to do origin movies, they have to be done this way, and you can't just jump into a character. Otherwise, people get burned out and make 2 Dark Phoenix movies. And I don't know if like, are they gonna end up burnt? Are we gonna burn out of these characters? We kind of have for some of them. I think, but those characters just go off and do their own thing. I'm
seeing like normies, even not to get into Spider-Man shit. I'm seeing even normies kind of be like, hey, can Spider-Man like grow the fuck up a little bit? Yeah. Like I'm seeing like fucking Quentin Reviews tweeting about like the billionaire shit, you know, and like making me feel like, I was ahead of it. I knew what I was talking about. 6 months ahead, baby. That's my thing. But like I'm seeing like a lot of people be like, hey, he is still kind of a kid all the time still. Yeah. And it has been 5 years since we met him in Civil War, you know? And it's like, fuck, he's still fucking 16. And it feels, it's the same issue with like comics where it's like, oh fuck, he still hasn't grown up. Like, oh fuck, Damien is, how old is Damien? Oh, he's 14. Damien's we met him when he was 12. Oh fuck. Yeah. It's 10 years ago. And that's kind of why, like, that's kind of why, as much as I don't love the John aging up stuff, it did actually, he's 17 now. We met him when he was 12, 5 years ago. It did kind of work out in the end, where it's like, we didn't get to see him grow up, but at the very least, we can pretend he grew up. You know, he's at least an adult.
With John, and I haven't read a lot of the comics, I only read a bit of Super Sons and like a bit of the new stuff, but it does feel more so like he's slowly more coming into his own. And he kind of has now because he's like the new Superman. But then it feels more in line with like Mark Grayson Invincible than it does like a lot of other stories. Because Mark in that book, although you've read the whole thing.
I finished it.
Right? Yeah. Towards the end, spoilers for like the end, but not crazy spoilers. He grows up. He really rapidly.
This is
rapidly
the reason I
him
think
up.
a lot of people are attached to the Invincible comic, like Drake, and I know I'm attached to it for the same reason. Is it is literally the only time in modern comics that we can see a superhero properly grow up.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
Like especially in real time.
I don't think all superheroes don't need to go through that. Like Batman, Batman needs to live for fucking forever just for the sake of profit.
Yeah.
But
it's a matter of like getting the character to a point where it's like you feel like
you're not repeating the same stuff.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like with Batman specifically, I think the end game for Batman is actually Batman Incorporated, like what Grant Morrison was doing, where they were like making Batman an idea for a global thing outside, you know, and Bruce being a little bit happier, moving past just vengeance for his family, and I think there is that growth. And they're taking a long time to get there, you know, and I think the end game is
once the fucking 2038 we will see the death of Batman or some shit like that. They're gonna
and then he's gonna come back in a fucking day, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and like I'm okay. I don't need characters to die. I don't need that. I just need and I don't need them to age consistently, obviously, because then there would be like 90-year-old Batman and stuff. Although it would be kind of cool. I do think it'd be kind of cool if characters aged realistically so that they just kept passing their mantles on. Because then people wouldn't be such like bitter assholes about everything. If their version of Spider-Man was the 5th Spider-Man, you know?
And I mean, we saw how the public took the whole John coming out as bisexual thing go. It went pretty well.
It went relatively well, except for stupid fucking people. Like the dumbest people on the planet.
Exactly. For the most part, it went pretty well, and no one was like crazily fazed by it. And I wonder if DC wanted people to be extremely fazed by it, and then if they were, they would have like gone crazy with it.
It is not the most like I love it. It's not the most outlandish thing in the world. You know, it is effectively a new character. You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm glad they didn't do it to Clark. If they did it to Clark, it would have been equally as fine. You know, maybe not as cool because it's like, okay, like he's a little old and stuff, and like it maybe they. I mean,
they did to Tim, but Tim's also
young and like it
with
fits
Damian.
For Tim,
with Damian being like the new Robin that everyone thinks of, I think that's why Tim. They were like, we can do whatever the fuck we want with Tim.
Yeah, and Tim is often forgotten.
Would they do that with Damian? I don't know if they would have done that with.
Damian. And would they do that with Dick? They should. Dick is a pansexual god, and everybody knows that, but nobody wants to admit it. But like I like fucking all the Robins are gay. Like, come on, they all are. Yeah. Nobody wants to admit it. Jason's gay. Damian's ace.
Jason very much doesn't want to admit it. That's why he hides behind his guns. So, yeah.
But like, it's just I love the John shit, but I also feel like the outrage. I don't know. It was so fucking. The outrage was just.
It was
dumb.
like, oh, it's not actually Superman. Okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, it felt very much like a okay, I can forget that this happens. Like I can just put this in my little corner. Whereas I feel like the Black Superman thing that they're doing with Ta-Nehisi Coates, it might suck. It might be fucking terrible. I have no idea because we don't know any.
That's gonna have more of an impact though.
Yeah, we have no clue. But it's gonna actually it's gonna properly say something. Where granted, again, I think the John stuff is saying something. I think the John stuff is going to not to like, because I am very excited about it. I was hype as fuck about it on Twitter. I am hype. I love that book. I really fucking love that book. But then it's gonna be like, is he going to stay Superman? He should. But is DC gonna let that happen?
No, they're gonna
call him they're gonna super lad. Oh god. They're gonna call him the Metropolis Kid, or they're gonna take the mantle away from him, and then it's like, oh fuck, now we don't have a gay Superman anymore, and that's gonna suck.
They're gonna take him and they're gonna put him in space and bring Superman back. So it's gonna be like Clarkson.
Or they're gonna make him a lantern, or they're gonna call him Super. Because
that's what they do a lot with like renames is like. They'll take that version of the character then and they'll put them on a team somewhere. Yeah. So they're no longer standalone. But
and it's in Marvel. Like that was the thing with Marvel too, where they would always they still do. They have two of everybody running around right now. Yeah. I used to be like, oh man, this is kind of annoying, because it's like, oh, when I talk about Spider-Man, which one am I talking about, Peter or Miles? You just then at that point you just fucking say their name, because it's like if your way of identifying a character,
we're not protecting their identities.
Yeah,
that's their job.
Their secret identities don't exist
world.
in real life. Yeah. And if your way of labeling a character is based on the username that they chose when they were 15. Yeah, it's like fucking no. You were attached to Peter because he's Peter, not because he's Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. I think Peter needs to not be Spider-Man for a while. Give him some other name.
What if there's just like a Peter Parker comic where he's not Spider-Man and he's
That'd
just
cool.
doing some
That'd be fun. Like I would love that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
have a pitch for like a Peter works at Shield thing, but like not like
Shield. I don't like Shield in general.
You don't like Shield?
I
was just thinking like a government organization.
Yeah,
but like he's not doing like spy shit. He's just working there, and it's more of like a political thing.
Yeah, they could have done something interesting with the whole slot. Not to, oh, it's gonna be ironic with me saying it. With the whole with Billionaire Peter, they could have done something really cool with that. And like that run is fine. I don't hate that run. I think it kind of like misses like it tries to do something out there that like it swings for the fences.
It tries to be an Elseworld. It tries to be a bit of an Elseworld.
It's a fine run. I don't really connect with it too much. But I think I would have connected with it if it was more like Oliver Queen style, where he was literally giving out his money like fucking like every step in was being the good billionaire that people seem to think exists, you know?
Yeah. Because that makes sense for what he would do after Otto. Yeah. You know, like Otto does all this stuff and he's like, this is too much for me. I don't know. So I don't know. Like it's weird that he went hard with it, I guess.
Yeah, he went like a little more Tony Stark with it, which was just like Peter's not really a futurist character. And I don't think Tony should be a futurist character either.
He is now, Troy. Yeah. He is now. Here we go. Yeah. I keep bringing you back. I'm sorry.
You do.
But Miss Marvel.
I'm not a fan. Like I just then again, this was the thing I was the most looking forward to, along with What If, and then What If turned out to be disappointing.
I don't think about What If anymore.
Nobody thinks about What If. It is insane to me, and we've talked about this before. Just the fact that they're constantly pumping out shows means that there is no value to any of the shows anymore.
They're saturating themselves so badly.
And it's like if it was a show a year, or even even if they just released all the episodes in one night and treated it like a movie release, I think that would be far better for the general like discourse with the movie the shows. You know?
Do they understand? They have to understand what they're doing. They're making themselves less popular.
Yeah,
like. Marvel was so much more popular in 2019 with Endgame than it is right now.
Marvel was more popular in March than they are right now.
Yeah, they were more. This is going to be kind of risk. They were maybe more popular during the pandemic than they were
when there wasn't anything.
When they were not. When there wasn't anything, because people were just talking about what's going to happen next.
And then
now no one's talking about what's going to happen next.
It might be the fact that we had such a long wait and we all theorized such interesting possibilities, and then now they're still going with their linear sort of storytelling. Because
not a lot of people, like some people did, and they were like, "Oh, X-Men, Fantastic Four," but I think people realistically know that it's going to take a few years before something like that happens.
Yeah,
I think people are just disappointed, just subconsciously, with, "Oh, this is the new Marvel thing." An animated show that treats you like a more of the same.
Kid? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and like, fine, whatever.
It's just so strange. And I'm like, I want to be excited for Hawkeye, and Hawkeye could be great, but it's
I think it's gonna be okay. But I think at the end of the day, we're gonna finish the show. We're gonna say that was really awesome.
Yeah.
And then forget about it a week later.
There's a chance that this might be the best Marvel thing in the world, but the discourse is gonna forget about it. In 10 seconds.
Because that's what happened with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That is exactly what happened.
And I really liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, aside from like some weird things. But because Loki was right around the corner.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about Loki anymore either. Loki was huge. But for some reason WandaVision is still being talked about kind of. Yeah. Just by like the stands, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like there aren't any stands
it's just because everyone watched WandaVision. Yeah. It's really just because everyone watched those first episodes.
And I think the reason because everybody watched those few episodes because it didn't feel like a superhero thing. Because it felt so fresh. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was kind of like that in that it was more of like a spy espionage show. But then then both of those shows kind of became more superhero-y at the end.
And even Loki didn't at the end.
Yeah.
But then Loki ended in a place where there's really no finality to it.
Yeah, and Loki, so then the only discourse was
what's in the future. That's it.
Loki ended on a mid-season break.
Yeah, it's not over.
Yeah, it's like when the Flash does their ninth episode where now we get to meet Reverse Flash, But then the winter break is like 2 years.
Yeah.
You know?
But during those break, people are more hyped after the show has ended and people are excited for the next season than they are during a mid-season break.
Yeah.
Because people kind of we're already in the season. And I feel like Loki, that was one of the killers, is that like there was no finality to that. Mm-hmm. So then people were like, okay, I guess I'll just wait for a bit and then we won't have any Marvel content. I don't care. We've had so much. And plus, we forget the movies. We haven't even mentioned the fucking movies.
I mean, like,
they're Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and
Shang-Chi is good. Shang-Chi I like a lot. It's still got its own Marvel problems, but like I enjoy it more than I like Black Widow. But yeah, Eternals looks like it feels so shitty because I was really excited for Eternals actually. But like,
and then now it looks mid. I guess
people are saying it's pretty mid, you know. Yeah. And like, and now I'm like, do I really want to fucking go for Thursday night release again like I did with Shang-Chi?
Do like a review or whatever.
Yeah, and like I don't think I'm gonna review Eternals. I don't think there's gonna be a market for it.
Yeah,
maybe I'll do something quick and shitty, but
maybe there'll be a bit of stuff. I don't think it's gonna go crazy. I think people are gonna watch it and then forget about it. That's what it seems like it's gonna happen. I don't know.
And I think the Batman it's weird how like the Batman, people are still talking about the Batman. People were talking about the first Batman trailer a year later before we got the second trailer. People were still analyzing it. The hype around this movie is, and maybe it is just because it's Batman, or maybe just because it looks so good. The hype around Marvel wishes they had this hype. They had. I think there is more hype for the Batman than there was for Endgame. Just within what I'm able to see, like I could not.
There definitely was, at least when the trailer came out last year. There definitely was.
Because I'm trying to think about like the way I gauge like just like mentally, like I could not have made Endgame content. When did Endgame come out? Like fucking 2019 April.
2018 was a trailer when it came out. December 2018.
Like between the trailer and the movie coming out, I couldn't like feasibly make content about it because it's like, what is there to
say?
Yeah, and it's like I couldn't really pull. And even then, if I did, in like a slow point with like no releases, I don't think it would have dragged anybody in. You know, unless if I did an Infinity War rewrite or something. Yeah. But like with the Batman, I could make the Batman video right now, and I think it would do well. I think I could like just the hype around it. People are so ecstatic to talk about it, which is really fucking cool. And I really like that. And I kind of feel like Dune is almost the same way, but not in Dune, like a less exciting way. You know?
Before we talk about a review for Dune, I want to say I'm genuinely surprised with how well Dune is doing.
Me too.
Because when Dune the trailer came out, I was like, oh my god, this looks kind of okay and pretty good. The trailers have been
the trailers have been terrible. I thought this movie I was literally expecting this movie to be bad because of those trailers.
I thought this movie was going to be very okay. Yeah. I was going to go in, I'm going to be bored for 2.5 hours, come out, say, okay, it was kind of cool. But like, I thought, okay, good for Denis for making this movie. It's going to flop terribly at the fucking theater. I went in with that spirit and I was completely wrong. I mean, full confession, I wanted to go see it in a theater. Plans got canceled. I woke up and I was like, fuck, I just want to fucking watch this movie and get it over with. So I turned on HBO Max. I sat in front of my widescreen monitor. I put it fucking widescreen. I shut off all the lights. It's not a theater experience, but I had my headphones in. Yeah. I fucking chillaxed. It was as close as I can get to something of a theater experience. I fucking loved it. I did not expect to love it.
I have a really hot take about the quote unquote theater experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the better way to view a movie, right? It is the better. It's like that's how it's intended and shit, and like, you know, there's less distractions and it's a bigger screen, better sound system, and everything. It doesn't make a movie better, you know. It doesn't, because you saw something in the theater does not make it like the quality of the movie should not be defined by how you're viewing it, you know. Yeah. Because movies are more than just... You will have
a better experience, but the movie in its quality will not increase.
Movies are more than just video and sound, you know? Movies are writing, movies are performances, and movies are emotion. Those emotions can come... Maybe they'll come through better on a big screen, but it's just like... So, okay, you watched Mission Impossible Fallout recently, you said. Yes. How did you watch that?
I have never watched Mission Impossible Fallout in a theater.
Exactly.
And I regret it. I want to, but it's still my favorite movie. It's not going to change being my favorite movie. Most people, the way
they watch movies, the majority of movies you see in your life, unless if you have fucking AMC A-list or like Movie Pass or something, is going to be on a fucking TV or even a laptop screen. Like that's just the way movies are seen now, and that's how movies have always been seen. Like, unless if you're some super rich director who has a home theater, you're not watching every movie in a theater. You're not. You're like, my favorite movies are like fucking like I think I have seen my favorite movies in theaters, but like just because I either just caught them or I fucking like saw rescreenings of them and shit. But like, they were my favorite movies. Like, Scott Pilgrim was my favorite movie for the longest time. And before that became like a red flag, apparently. I guess that's a red flag on TikTok now. It's a good movie. Fuck you guys. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's
fantastic fucking movie. But like, that was my favorite movie for the longest time, and I haven't seen it. I never saw it in a theater until like April this year. You know, and it's just like, because it's just such a fun, well-written, well-directed movie, you should be able to watch it on a fucking, maybe not a phone screen because that's a little too small.
That's a bit,
but you should be able to watch it on a screen that is relative, like I think a laptop screen. Like, I watched Godzilla on a laptop, the 2013, 14, whatever year that came out. I watched that on my laptop, and I loved it. I had a good time with that. You know, it wasn't as big, but it was still cool.
Because ever since I got this ultra wide monitor, I've been finding, like, whether it's on streaming services, Disney Plus is shit with this. So I hate it. So sometimes I fucking have to find a download or something. But HBO Max has been good with it because it usually acknowledges that I have a widescreen, a 21:9 ratio. That's hilarious because
the HBO Max player is otherwise really terrible.
Yeah, because like, when you play it, like on the thing, it just crops it, but then when you actually do it changes.
Okay, there are only two good players in the whole fucking streaming apps, and that's Netflix and that's Prime. Like, because
they've had the most experience too with it.
But it's just so weird to me how it's like, how the fuck are we still figuring this out? How the fuck have we not gotten gotten the basics yet? It's so weird to me.
But with my ultra wide, I do like the experience of like, okay, if I'm watching my laptop, I'm going to see a black bar on the top and the bottom. If I'm watching it in like a fucking home theater, I'm probably also going to see a thing on the top and the bottom. I have like a home theater setup. I should have probably went and put Dune in the home theater setup I have in my apartment, like, and I should have probably done it there. But I was like, I want to see it just all over my monitor, because when I use my monitor, I'm looking at my entire monitor. You know, if I see the black bars, I see the black bars. So then, okay, when it's an actual movie with the cinematic ratio, it extends across the whole way. I feel like I'm watching something meant and tailored for this experience, even though it's meant for a theater experience, and I want to have that theater experience.
The screen is being more filled, and it's like, and I think if you have a monitor like that, but I also like the I don't know if you like I think we've talked about this. There's like a practice when like you're editing or making a video or a short film or something, is that you want to make it sure it's accessible and viewable on the worst possible hardware. Exactly. With my audio, I edit over my fucking speakers to make sure that like you don't need big giant headphones to understand anything in here, you know?
That's a mistake I've made with my past videos where I edit stuff and then I forget that, okay, this is going to compress this way. And then it compresses this way and my audio sounds like shit.
Like, I think things need to be viewable.
I use these headphones,
the same experience
on
a potato. A potato needs to be able to fucking show Dune. A potato, and that's just a testament for how good Dune is, because a potato could show Dune and it'd still be a good fucking movie. You know, that's why I really hated when Christopher Nolan was like, you have to watch Tenet in the theater or you're not getting the experience. Okay, so I'm just never going to fucking watch Tenet then. Apparently, because guess what? It's not in fucking theaters anymore.
I'll say I watched Tenet in theaters with a friend and I enjoyed it. I've watched Tenet at least 2 or 3 times more at home over the course of the past like year and a half. I've enjoyed it more watching it at home. Just because it's like I get to sit at home and watch it. I get to pause it if I really want to focus on something.
There's a comfort aspect. It's just a better,
and I get that there are certain.
I was able to watch Dune with subtitles. If I didn't have subtitles, I wouldn't know what was going on. I can't understand people.
The fucking when he speaks Mandarin or whatever, and it's like you're like, there's no subtitles if you don't have them turned on, and that was
really that's fucked. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. That was strange, but yeah, I don't know. There's this whole thing, and I mean, I feel better about it with Dune 2 because they were like, we'll announce a sequel. Or,
holy shit!
Dune 2, Electric Boogaloo. No. Denny, you don't have the balls to call fucking Dune 2 that.
Please, it's gonna be Dune Chapter 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be Dune Part 2. They're just gonna call it
I think
Dune
Chapter because it's a book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I guess. But with what was I saying? I fucking...
Sorry, I distracted you. Sorry.
No, I did. I have it. I fucking have it on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, with Dune, I felt better about it because they announced that if it does well in HBO Max, we will greenlight a sequel. You know, that was the whole thing. Is it has to do well on HBO Max. And I was like, I mean, if I go to the theater, it's going to do well. I guess it'll be a thing. But if I watch on HBO Max, it's a stream on HBO Max. You know, at least I'm giving them that. And so I don't know.
The people that are only looking at box office right now when trying to determine a movie's success is like, no, the companies are seeing the numbers. We don't see those numbers.
Thing? Do you not wear the thing on your face when you go out in public?
No, literally.
There's something going on outside.
But even just like fucking. It's like trying to gauge a company's success when they have all of their money locked away in a bank vault. It's like, how the fuck can you tell? You can't see how, like, you can maybe guess based on like some numbers, but it's like they're the only people that know how many people are watching something.
Especially when so much are called as like tax write-offs and stuff. It's like it's more complicated than just
there's a whole thing. And like
for producers, it's more complicated than just let's make this movie as good as possible so that people view it. Because if that were the case, all movies would be fucking amazing. Yeah, they're not. So that's a little bit of an absolute statement. I guess, but
no, but like, and I just so fucking crazy where people are like, oh, the Suicide Squad was a failure because it only made this amount of money on the box office.
Did you see the stream?
Did you see how many? Like, do you know how many people are paying $15 a month to Warner Brothers right now? That's the other thing. That's the other thing. I don't know if we want to get into this. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theater because I didn't want to give any more fucking money to Warner Brothers.
Yeah, because you have it already.
Yeah, you're paying. If you like, that's what's crazy to me. You are paying the price of a movie ticket a month. That is the selling thing for. I don't know how much. Maybe HBO is cheaper for some people, but like for me, it's $15 a month. You are paying. That is the price of a movie ticket in an expensive place like where I live. Like that's the selling point. That's why HBO has always been $15. It's like, oh, it's like you're buying I keep bumping my mic. It's like you're buying a movie ticket. That's the whole thing. So why the fuck would you go and do it again? Why would you buy another one? And I get it. I get for the theater experience and I get for wanting to support people. But like the expectation, I think
that should come from a personal place, not a place of like, oh, everyone is doing it and everyone's.
It's got this like kind of. It has kind of an elitist vibe to it. Not to say, you know, it gives me very like you have to experience it in this proper form, or else it's not this. Like I can look at a photo. It's actually that's a different thing because it's like paintings have their own sort of three-dimensional texture that you can't get in a photo and shit.
And you see like in person.
But it's like you could like fucking that's like saying you have to watch Seinfeld as it aired on TBS in 1997 to properly understand this episode of Seinfeld. Like I guess maybe it's with the ad breaks and stuff. It's just the presentation, you know. And I can watch Seinfeld on my phone on the treadmill, and and I'll still laugh at when Jerry says fucking relatable humor, you know. I'll still laugh when George gives a security guard a chair when he shouldn't.
I think I wonder if how much of that is like from our perception of just YouTube too, of like. The reason YouTube is so strong is because it comes without any of that subtext. You know, you can watch it wherever the fuck you want. It's going to be,
and I think that's even why that's why TikTok is more successful than because I do you know Phil Jameson? He does like short form like sketch comedy. He's really funny. I fucking love him. He did this kind of like I don't know if I would call it video essay, but he did like an analysis of vertical video versus horizontal video. And basically he was saying that like vertical video kind of implies something that's in the moment, something that is casual, something that is like because we film vertically, like we film with our phones vertically, you know, if you film like, so it implies like, oh shit, you just saw this or you just had this idea. It's this very free thing, like free flowing thought process, you know? Whereas horizontal video implies like something more cinematic, something more planned out, something properly edited, you know? So it's like there's a place for both of them in the quote unquote society we live in. And like I feel like that's kind of an extension of like what we're talking about, where it's like you think big screen, you think movie, you think small screen that's vertical, you think YouTube phone. Video, and then you think small screen that's vertical, you think of fucking TikTok. Yeah. Whereas like media is still media and art is still art. You know, the presentation doesn't fucking matter. Like we watch movies over Discord, you and I, when we do commentaries with at like 10 frames a second with like shitty compressed audio. We still liked Ghost Rider. We still like Batman versus Dracula.
Yeah.
It's just...
We still love I didn't need to see... I want to see the Batman trailer in like a fucking IMAX theater, but we didn't need to. No. I saw it on
That was actually the only reason I was considering going to see Dune in the theater, because I was like, man, I kind of want to go see it.
Did you see it? Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I saw it on HBO. Yeah. I saw it. I sat back, I put my laptop up on a little stand, and I leaned back, and I had a good time. My AirPods.
That's why I'm gonna go watch Spider-Man in theaters, so I can watch the Batman trailer.
Yeah, that's honestly that's a good reason.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think there you can, for people who feel because I was kind of self-conscious a bit. I was like, should I go to theaters and watch it? If you can watch it on HBO Max, and you will feel more comfortable doing that, go for it, man.
I think it's a safety thing. It's like a
just make sure you have good headphones, and then that's really all. Turn off the lights, have good headphones.
Yeah, and ideally, like, try not to distract. Like, I do admit I was on my phone a little bit during Dune.
I went to the bathroom once because I had to go to the bathroom,
and I had to stop it. But that's another testament for how good the movie was, because it's like I would just get distracted by Twitter or by my phone or something, and I would look down and I would look up and I'd be like, oh fuck, I missed something. Like, oh shit, I feel like I missed part of the experience, so I backed it up. And then like
I had to go to the bathroom around the halfway point as things were really escalating, and I was like, no, let me just watch this. And then like once things slowed down a bit, I was like, oh, okay, let me go really quickly. Yeah. I was engaged. There's a good but yeah, do we want to get into a review? I guess.
Yeah, well, like the other, like, speaking on the same topic before we get into that, like with me, like I had to stop a couple times because like I'm sharing the room with Olivia and stuff, and like she was out doing stuff, but then she would come in and need me for something, or like she was going to bed and stuff. So I took like a 30-minute break at the end, like in the last like hour. No, even in the last like 45 minutes, I took like a solid chunk of time away from the movie, and then when I came back to it, I was still pulled right back in. I think that's a testament to the writing and to the direction, where like you don't have to be constant. Like I don't know. There's something. I feel like it's the same way about spoilers, and this is a whole other conversation. And like spoilers are bad, obviously. Like we don't like to be spoiled for movies, but like if you get a movie spoiled for you and that ruins the movie experience, then maybe the movie probably wasn't that good to begin with. You know, if like say Spider-Man Homecoming, if you get spoiled that Toombs was Liz's dad, and then the movie could like the movie like if that got spoiled for you, and then you just don't enjoy the movie anymore, that might have been a failure on the movie's part, you know? Because then what are you gonna do when you rewatch the movie? Like,
because I mean the only exceptions that I feel like maybe are murder mysteries, like with Knives Out. If you knew what happened, who did it in Knives Out, and you watch the movie, you'll probably be like thinking about this at the same time. But that's a different experience.
The other thing with Knives Out though that I think is like really special is because it's like for most of that movie it's actually a thriller. It's a detective movie for the first and like third acts, but like the majority of it is like, oh, you know who it is, quote unquote. But you're just following them, and that's why I like that, and that's why it works so well.
I want a Nightwing movie like Knives Out.
Oh, please!
I feel like a Nightwing movie,
Ryan Johnson like Nightwing. I want. Here's my crazy pitch. I don't know how well this would work. Ryan Johnson on the Green Arrow movie, specifically because it would piss off everybody. It would piss off all of the right people, and I want that so bad.
And you would get good press for Green Arrow because it's like Ryan Johnson is doing a Green Arrow movie. Okay,
yeah, he's like that's what we were talking about last time, where it's like a director whose name is big enough to sell tickets. I think Ryan Johnson at this point is, but granted, for
just
like
because of the notoriety of it.
Yeah, because you know who he is.
Yeah,
but like,
which the guy's such a peaceful dude for all the shit that people throw.
He's such a cool dude. I fucking love him. Yeah, I like I'm mid on The Last Jedi. I like a lot of it, but I don't like a lot of it. But like as a guy, he's fucking cool as hell. He's great.
Yeah,
but yeah, like to finalize that, I just feel like there's a lot of emphasis lately within the discourse of like the first viewing being like the most important. You know, where it's like it's really not. You know, because the majority,
you rewatch your favorite movies for a reason.
Yeah,
you know, and it's not just because of the first time I watched Mission Impossible, I watched it with my family, and my sister was next to me, and she was constantly fucking nudging me in the shoulder the whole time. I remember that it didn't detract that much from the viewing experience. You know, like it's fine, whatever.
Like when I watched Spider-Verse, I had to and I saw it in the theater and shit, but like I didn't have the best theater experience. But guess what? That's still my favorite fucking movie. You know, I never saw Spider-Man 1, the first Raimi movie. I never saw that in theaters. And guess what? It's still a killer movie. You watch it on TV, and it's great still.
Yeah. And it goes the other way. Fucking Rise of Skywalker, I watched while having a fever that was oncoming. It was 3D, so it was fucking pain to watch. So I watched most of the movie with like my eye closed like this the whole time, just through one glass to remove depth perception. Yep. And the fucking snacks that I ordered, I finished them within the first 15 minutes.
Oh no.
And the worst part of that entire experience was the actual movie itself. So, you know, I think the viewing experience and the actual movie itself can be separated.
It's a portion of it. Like, I think that is a portion. Yeah. Like my Shang-Chi review was basically that whole video was basically me talking about my theater experience. But it's like that's not a description of the movie. You know,
yeah,
and I think there's a reason why people like fucking like professional movie reviewers get their own copy of fucking most movie reviewers. I don't know if you knew this.
Get a copy, yeah.
They get a copy and they watch it on their computer. They watch it. They watch it's not even a Blu-ray. It's a DVD.
It's just a DVD.
You know, do you know what resolution DVDs are?
It's like in a little. It's
DVDs are 480p maximum. Maximum of 480p. And so it's like. I think that it's also a testament to a lot of movie critics and professional people who get those to still see something's quality of regardless of if it's shitty, you know, if it's low visual, you know, and it's that's basically my whole thing. So if you want to move into a Dune review, to all the people that said they wanted to be on the podcast to talk about Dune, I am sorry, but Zoom only lets us record for 40 minutes with more than 2 people.
Fuck. Yeah.
Sorry, Dallas.
Give us your comments and I'll highlight them. Oh fuck yeah, Dallas wanted to do it.
Dallas wanted to.
I forgot.
Yeah, sorry, Dallas.
I also just fucking realized, Jesus, the worm in the background.
Background.
I didn't even realize that until now.
I love it.
Because I was like, okay, normal looking poster. I get what the fuck.
It's so fucking funny.
That's good. The battle bus. It's gonna eat the battle bus. Oh god. Oh, but yeah, Dune.
Dune is Dune good.
Dune good. To quote Dallas himself, Dune good.
Dune good.
I went in with low expectations, and maybe that's why I am so surprised and loving this movie. But this year has been a lot of movies newly releasing that I just don't really give a fuck about.
The best have been cool at most, and then the worst have been mid at best. Yeah, aside from the Injustice movie, which is poopy doo doo.
Yeah, and it's like we watch some of these movies, and I think it's okay, or maybe I make a video about it like within that time frame, but nothing sticks with me past like a week. You know, Dune is a movie that's gonna stick with me for at least this entire month.
I'm gonna think about it.
This is a movie that I went in with lowish expectations, and within the first, I want to say at least 20 minutes, I'm like, oh fuck, this is like a movie.
It's like it's like you forget what it's like to have a movie that writes characters and introduces you to characters in a natural, likable way without having previous movies setting them up.
Yeah,
you know,
and to give context for this too, Scribe, who's my fucking very good friend who reads books and only books.
Fucking nerd. We only read comic books.
He's a nerd.
And even then, we don't read those. We just read the Wikipedias.
He has comprehensive reading skills and writes his own fucking novels and shit. What a fucking dumbass. Make video essays like a real professional person. But he was telling me I'm so excited for Dune, but I'm scared. I don't know what this is going to be like with the book. And I'm like, I want to care about the book. But okay, I'm just going to go in fucking blind. I don't want to fucking think about the book. I don't want to think about the other movie. I just want to go in because I'm going to full confession. And I meant to do this before I watched Dune, but I could never get around to it. I wanted to watch Blade Runner and Arrival and Prisoners beforehand.
I've never seen any. This is my first Denny movie. And I haven't seen them.
This is my first Denny movie. I'm sorry, guys.
My first Timothy movie. My first a lot of movies.
This might be my first Timothy movie. I'm trying to think of other movies he's in that I've seen, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I want to see Beautiful Boy. Timothy is good in this, so I want to see Beautiful Boy.
He's a good actor.
I don't. Going into this, I was like, it's gonna be kind of pretentious, I assume, and I'm gonna kind of be bored for a bit of it. But then they do and we'll get to spoilers later. They do a really good job of world building. They do really good job.
I would used to watch Brandon Sanderson lectures as a kid, to kind of learn about storytelling and the structure and stuff. And he would mainly talk about the structure of epic fantasy. And I had no fucking clue this movie was an epic fantasy. I thought this was a sci-fi movie about a desert planet. Like I also went in completely blind and stuff. Yeah. And like watching this movie like brought back that feeling of like, oh fuck, I really like epic fantasy high concept worlds of just like in just being introduced to like that. It's so weird. That scene where you're first introduced to Timothy, Paul is his name. That's a funny name. They kept calling him Paul. I kept laughing. I'm sorry.
It's Timothy. His name is Discount Tom Holland. That's what his name is.
So true.
Or is Tom Holland Discount Timothy? I don't know.
Ooh, that's a debate for another time.
Yeah, there we go.
But like that first scene when you're introduced to him at the dinner table, it's like, oh shit, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is like, and granted, because it is a book, but it felt like a book introduction of like starting very small, very quiet. You meet the characters, you meet what they're like. There's a little bit of exposition that's like naturally grafted in there in a way that like how the characters like.
And you assume for people who have read the book, they already know what's going on.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And it's like, I just really miss that feeling. And I forgot what it was like because lately so much media that I've been consuming has either been just hasn't been that kind of high concept thing, you know, or has been existing IPs or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So just that kind of like that serotonin rush was really fucking cool. It was really nice, and it felt like I was reading a book in a way, because it is based on a book, but it felt like it didn't try to adapt it into like a movie structure. This movie has no structure. This movie is not a 3-act, and I love that.
Because after this movie, I didn't have mixed feelings. I had good feelings, but I wanted to because I'm a piece of shit who needs reassurance. I watched a bunch of reviews on Dune to kind of understand, and remember when I told you Cosmonaut didn't like it?
Yeah.
He was trolling everyone. He fucking loved it. He was just trolling everyone.
I haven't seen his video yet. That's so funny.
But I watched Cosmonaut's review. I watched Daniel Green's review, too, just to get that book perspective. And he didn't love it, but he liked a good amount of it. He just didn't love it. And I watched Moist Critical, Charlie's perspective. And Charlie kept hammering away something that makes a lot of sense, where this movie essentially is worthless unless it gets a sequel.
Yeah.
And I kind of see that.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's worthless.
But the reason where I think it's not as worthless is because this movie, albeit Paul being kind of like a almost like a self-insert kind of like not a lot of emotion character, it is about his arc. The movie starts in one place with his arc and ends his arc in some way. Yeah. And the last scene helps kind of, you know, establish, no, this is the end of his arc. Yeah. And at least if we don't get a sequel, at least that exists and that has some strength to it.
I'm seeing a lot of people that I like and stuff saying that it's like it's boring and that like nothing happens and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it feels like it's just setting up for the rest of the story. This movie feels like it's act 1 of the book, you know? Is the and a lot of them, and this is not a bad thing, but a lot of the movie felt like the crossing into the unknown portion of the hero's journey, because I'm gonna have to assume, because Dune was written in the fucking 60s, I'm gonna have to assume Dune was based a lot on the Joseph Campbell book, the Hero with a Thousand Faces, like that structure. That's just how fucking like Star Wars is too. It's not a bad thing.
I mean, even people say that Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan's fantasy novel stuff. Yeah. And that's very inspired by Dune, supposedly. Like,
Rand, I see that. I totally see that. Like that's like. And I really that's why I like that so much. But it's like, so like, yeah, this feels like it's quote unquote the first act still, but there is a lot that happens from a character perspective of going from kind of like a nerdy kid who like has good intentions, but is like kind of unable to really do anything about anything, to effectively like a hero's hero, you know? And I think that's really fucking cool. Like, and I think, I'm seeing like a lot of criticism that like nothing happens, and I think that's kind of like a little
there's a difference
short-sighted.
And Daniel Green talks about this, and I was trying to understand this because over the course of the past year, I've been really invested in understanding how pacing works in a movie, right? And how some movies can be slow-paced and feel kind of fast, and some movies can be fast-paced but still feel kind of slow. And how do movies kind of balance that? With this movie, the first 2/3 of this movie is like really kind of it's slow paced, right? It's slow paced. It picks up here and there, but it is slow paced. But it does not feel slow because it gives you enough stuff to process and comprehend as you're going through that. And I was afraid that it's just going to be pretentious slow, you know, where you see characters for a long time. And I watched Spectre recently, right? Spectre is a movie that is pretentious slow.
Oh, really?
Spectre is a movie where you see characters just stand and look at each other and then turn around and stand and say something else to each other. And Spectre, I really like Spectre, but I also really don't like Spectre. It's very much in a middle ground for me.
Okay. I need
this
to watch
movie
Spectre.
felt like Spectre is.
I just don't want to follow up Skyfall with that because I love Skyfall. Skyfall is like my favorite Bond ever.
Skyfall is awesome.
Skyfall's the best.
But with this, it felt like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Where even though it was slow paced, you kept the engagement.
Everything
just because
felt like grounded still.
Yeah.
It felt like this it could have by all means been a super pretentious Oscar baity pretentious kind of like film, you know.
Yeah.
But it still like had the kind of humanity aspect that like a lot of even blockbusters are lacking, you know.
Yeah.
Like every character
this
felt
was
like a human
blockbuster
person
too. That it still felt like a blockbuster.
Yeah.
It did the good things that a blockbuster.
It felt like a thing
know?
for casual audiences without like being for I'm seeing some people say like some people were tweeting about this and I totally agree. Like it is a movie that doesn't like hold your hand constantly and baby you and like like feed you over the fucking head with exposition and lore and like what is happening constantly. And it is reliant on the audience being smart enough to understand like what it's doing. And the good news is that it seems like the audience is smart enough to understand that. And I'm really happy to see that.
And a part of me is like, do I wish it were kind of a little bit more fast paced? Maybe just so more normal audiences could get into it. But I think it's fine that it's not.
I think it's
okay.
The plot is, if we don't get a sequel, the plot is going to be quote like I don't want to say worthless because I think there is still worth to it. But the plot of the story that is happening is like shit that does kind of suck. That it's like this. Yeah. The story didn't really happen, but we had a lot of character growth, and I think that's the best way to view it because it's like. How many are we expecting 2 movies or are we going to expect 3?
They're saying they want to do a trilogy. Okay. But the first 2 will be the book, I assume.
Oh, and
then the third one will be adapting because there's a series of Dune books.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
I thought
there's
a
bunch of them. Yeah, no, people forget that. People just think about the
maybe
one.
Maybe this should have been a miniseries instead. That might have been better.
Honestly, watching this, I think it maybe at some point in time, maybe it was meant to be a miniseries, and then they turned it into a movie.
I think maybe do this 2.5-hour movie and then do a miniseries for the rest of it.
It's paced kind of like a miniseries.
This feels like a pilot episode, which is not a bad thing.
You can see the endpoints.
Yeah.
You can see the endpoints, and I mean, I don't know how far in we're gonna get into spoilers, but I
don't have a ton to say spoilery. Like,
I have a few things, but nothing crazy.
Okay.
But I don't know with the way this was paced, I can see them. I think what they do is with the next movie, they will finish most of the book, I believe, and then there's like a Dune something that starts with an M that they want to adapt for the final movie.
Okay.
Right. And I feel like that will be a little bit more climactic, I guess, and it'll be more like a war movie. I think the way I compare this, and it's kind of a good comparison, I don't know how much Dune stole from this, is the Mahabharata. Have you ever heard of the Mahabharata?
I've heard the name. But
it's a religious thing. So I'm a fucking Hindu. If you don't, I don't tweet about it much, but I am. But there's a big epic story called the Mahabharata in India, right? And it's this big tale about this kingdom that like it's very Game of Thrones-esque, but obviously Game of Thrones stole this from
no, they ripped off Game of Thrones.
Yeah, where exactly. Yeah, they fucking went to the future and shit. But what this story is about, it ties in with the gods, but it's mainly about this kingdom where there's this group of 5 brothers called the Pandavas and 100 brothers called the Kauravas, and they both like fight with each other over the course of time, and the Pandavas go into exile, and then slowly they come back with like sons, and it's this grand epic story about how they get exiled and this whole thing gets destroyed, and then over the course of 14 years they all build their own lives, but then come back, and then it's kind of in the spirit of vengeance, but also in the spirit of justice, a huge war happens and they take over their kingdom, and then honestly it's kind of ends on a sour ending once you go farther into the book. Farther into the story, and my exposure to the Mahabharata was more just like graphic novels that came out to adapt this whole series. And it's like a huge fucking it's like an invincible long compendium of like shit, right? And there's a bunch of sub stories and a bunch of other stuff, but Dune is a similar story. of like like, not to get too spoilery, but it's a story about a grand a kingdom that is in ruins that comes back together in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
kind of out of blood. And I think the direction they go with this trilogy is kind of more in line with the spirit of that Mahabharata thing of like, here is like an epic scale story.
Yeah.
So I think what they're going to do with Dune is the second movie is going to be not as climactic. It's going to be more character focused. The characters that didn't get enough attention in this movie, especially Shani, are going to get more attention in the next movie. You're going to really sink into like making Paul like an actual person, as opposed to just like a blank slate. And then I assume if that does well, which I really do hope it does well, the third movie is where we'll see like the fucking epic scale crazy shit that's gonna like really reach normal audiences. So I don't know. I see Dune being the next big thing. And before watching this movie, I did not see Dune being the next big thing.
Yeah.
But I very much see the strength in the story, like never before.
Yeah. No, I think like, and I think it's interesting because it's like the Joseph Campbell thing. I believe did pull from from that story you were talking about. I didn't want to mispronounce the name, so I just didn't even bother.
No, a lot of things do pull from that. Yeah. Not exactly. And I want to see some form of it.
Yeah, because like, the Joseph Campbell, in some way, the Hero with a Thousand Faces is an analysis of myths and epic stories and religious texts and like basically anything with a plot structure. And it was this guy Joseph Campbell was like, oh yeah, everything does this. Holy shit! Yeah. Like everything follows this pattern, and then people have taken that and turned that into the Save the Cat narrative. Which that's another way to do plots, which is a simplified version that's better for film. And I think everybody is so used to the Save the Cat narrative of that structure of storytelling and then when something is a little bit more epic and is a little bit more grander in the way it's doing its story, people are seeing that and being like, oh, this isn't finished or this isn't done. Nothing happens yet. And they see that as unfulfilling when in reality it's like that is kind of the point. You know, and not in a way that it's like, oh, it's not done yet. You need to watch 3. It's a whole trilogy, like the way that people are doing this, like defending like the Snyder stuff. But it's like it's a matter of just like this is just how the story was written. Yeah, you know, the story is already written. The plot is already there. We're just adapting it. You know, and there's a whole thing with adaptations and like that's another thing. But
and I'm sure there are some people that will probably prefer the book to this movie, and I think that's fine if you do. I think that. It's nice that this is in a movie, and I think Denis is a person from this movie alone that I can tell that he loves the medium of film to the extent that he can apply stories to it, which is why he's doing this as an adaptation, you know? And I think with the medium of film, you're able to even though it's not a complete story, you're able to more succinctly bring these characters to life than you could even in a miniseries or in a book or in the fucking old movie, how they did it, where that was like just really fast.
Yeah, I haven't seen my understanding. I kind of want to watch the original movie now, just to like.
A bit of me does too, because I know they say it's like shit, but there's got to be something.
It's David Lynch. It can't be that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know this. You didn't expect to fucking like come out of this movie.
I was my expectations were like kind of for the meme almost. Like I was like, I gotta watch Dune because it's like, oh, Timothy and like Marcus was always hyping up Dune and everybody was hyping up Dune, and like I would see it fucking like at the AT&T store, I'd see an ad for it, and it's like, okay, Dune, yeah, you love it. Yeah. And then I just really liked I wasn't having the best day that day. I didn't expect it
to be accessible. That's the one thing I didn't expect it to be so accessible, but it is.
I really expect like it's on the same level of Game of Thrones, and it's like not to compare it to Game of Thrones and shit, but like where like George R. R. Martin wrote those books like they were they're modern books. They're modern feeling stories. And you expect to like when you think of because Dune it's a fantasy book more than any. This is a fantasy story just with spaceships instead of horses. Like there's no fucking there's no like social. I mean there is kind of social commentary. About,
it has more to do with fantasy than it does. With
Star Wars, it has epic. It has a fantasy feel for. It's like Star Wars where it's like fantasy and space versus sci-fi.
Yeah.
But like. Game of Thrones is a fantasy story. So like when you think of fantasy, you think of like Lord of the Rings, Hobbit style of storytelling. Those books are very inaccessible. Like they're great books, but they are very, very inaccessible to a modern audience with the way that we're used to reading stories. Whereas something like I would assume the Dune book and the Game of Thrones books and like Sanderson books or everything are fully accessible because they kind of have to be. The characters have to be completely accessible and understandable and clear to pull the readers or the audience in to understand the world. Because this world is pretty fucking complicated. I tried to explain it to Olivia, and it was like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But because you get the characters, and because you're so interested in it, and just from a core concept of like, oh, Paul is a cool dude. Paul is he's a relatable guy. Fucking Duncan is a cool guy. Jason Momoa, love Jason Momoa. Okay, another thing. When did people start hating Jason Momoa? Did we like culturally decide we don't like Jason Momoa after Aquaman or something?
Maybe it had to do with the Snyder Cut.
Maybe
some people going
because I fucking love that guy. I love the dude to death. Yeah. He's the best. I fucking love him. He's the coolest.
He's technically Zoe Kravitz's stepdad. Yeah, which is just funny to me.
That's funny
to think that like he's Aquaman and she's Catwoman. I don't know. This is cool.
But like, I love Jason Momoa. He was really good in this. In like they're like in Oscar Isaac was fucking great as a dad. He's a good dad.
I didn't expect that.
We love good dads. We love good dads.
We do love good dads.
But yeah, just like you're right, making it accessible. So like it's not a pretentious like, oh, I have to understand the lore fully and like read up a bunch of textbooks to understand what these characters are doing. It is focused on the characters more than anything. You know?
Which isn't that kind of why Arrival did so well also? Back when that came out? I haven't seen it, but I know it was a big pop culture thing just because it was so accessible to people, and people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll go fucking watch this Jeremy Renner
versus something like and I don't hate this movie, but Interstellar was very inaccessible. Interstellar was a lot of like jargon and like talking just science stuff, and the characters were there, but it felt like a lot of the time they weren't at the forefront, which I understand that is the point of that movie. The point of that movie is like is about like the coldness of science and about like the lack of empathy in the field, and then in reality the empathy is like what really matters and stuff. Like I get that, I still didn't like it for the movie and stuff.
Which people tell me that Denis and Nolan are similar filmmakers, and I kind of see it, but Dune does not feel like a Nolan movie.
Feels like a much warmer and more human. Like Nolan, all of Nolan's movies have been very like cold, and the humanity of them has always been lacking, even in the Batman movies, even in like But like Denis, like again, I've only fucking seen this movie, so I can't like say for all of his things.
Exactly.
But from my understanding, they are very character based, and like you feel empathy for the humans. My hand is severed right now.
Even if you don't see them in reality. Yeah. Because I can't see Paul being a real person. No. But I do feel with him.
I see. I could even kind of see him being a real person. Actually, just. Maybe it was just the serotonin level I got from being introduced to a new world.
It's Timothée
Chalamet.
Timothée Charlemagne. Isn't that trending like really?
But I don't have a ton to say. I just really liked it. It was a really good movie. The characters did it for me. The emotions did it for me. Cool.
It's crazy when I watch Mizgift streams, who's like a Twitch streamer who's like he has ADHD and he's fucking crazy and sporadic all the time. When even he is like, yeah, I'm gonna go to LA and maybe I'll go see Dune. I'm like, when this guy can go see Dune, people are thinking about Dune.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe that's because of just it was really well marketed, and also like it might be the cast too. People see Zendaya and they're like, oh, it's Zendaya. Yeah.
I wonder how much of it too is just like. People just want like an actual good movie in theaters for once.
I think so too.
How long has
this movie didn't feel corporate too, which I really liked.
Yeah,
this did because they could have very easily.
Yeah. When Eternals was started, because I feel like Eternals and Dune, just from visual marketing styles, can be considered competitors, right? Because all movies are competitors, but they're pretty movies shot in sunsets with sand. Yep. It's like, okay, there you go. There's a little competition. Dune is going to do better than Eternals. I'm putting my hands down right now.
Really? Dune, I don't think it would. I don't think it's going to do better because you're forgetting that it isn't Marvel. Marvel
That's
is
true, but they're not advertising the Marvel aspect of it so much, but it still feels corporate. How many people do you think know Eternals is coming out? As compared to how many people know Dune is coming out.
Wait, when's Eternals coming out?
I think it's coming out like in a couple weeks, like early November.
I thought it was like mid-November. We're still a little ways off about it.
Yes, but you gotta realize Halloween's like in 5 days. So.
Oh fuck! Halloween's in 5 days. Oh god. I gotta figure out my costume again. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna beat Eternals because it's just the juggernaut that is Disney Marvel is too big.
Maybe.
You know,
Yeah.
when fucking Black Widow is the most successful movie in the pandemic up to that point, I don't think, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that makes sense, kind of.
I expect it to be better than Black Widow and pull in more seats, you know. But I don't know. There's a
I guess
chance.
I do forget that they're, because I mean, another thing we didn't compare. Fucking Eternals has a stellar cast too.
Yeah.
So it depends on how they market that.
Yeah.
So many people I don't think realize that Angelina Jolie is in a Marvel movie.
That's weird.
That was like a big deal to me when they announced it.
Yeah.
And like I forget.
That's why it didn't feel real. Her and Salma Hayek. I was like, these people are not going to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah,
I have always felt like ever since and I still feel like it. Ever since they announced it, I was like, that movie's getting canceled. I still feel like this movie's getting canceled. This movie's out in 2 weeks.
It doesn't feel. Do we want to talk a little bit about Eternals? Because I have thoughts on what people are talking about. I mean, TLDR for Dune. I guess we didn't go into spoilers, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as the Batman to me, but it's a very similar feeling.
This is the overlap of filmmakers film. Like the word cinema gets thrown around a lot, but it's like because of fucking Marty.
Cinema
and shit.
just means you're seeing a movie. Yeah, that's all it fucking means.
But this is a filmmaker's film made by a filmmaker who loves the media of film and a studio that fuck Warner Brothers, but a studio that was like, okay, yeah, go ahead. You know, it's the collision of corporate greed and artistic art. You know, that I think like hasn't really felt the same. It hasn't really felt like we've had that since like Inception and since like those Nolan days. And even like before that, as far back as the fucking the Raimi trilogy, you know, where like those were a studio greenlit a filmmaker to make films versus a filmmaker to make their movies.
Tenet got close for me, but then it was also the thing of the inaccessibility. This is a filmmaker's film that is meant for people to just watch.
It's not a filmmaker's film for film. That's the other thing too. It's a movie for for an audience versus a movie for other filmmakers.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. Like obviously filmmakers are an audience and the audience isn't there's like a middle ground with that too. But like ideally like movies are made to be seen by people, you know, and not to if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. This is a movie that I think it's PG-13 too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because
very accessible.
There's no like outrageous blood either. So yeah, I think it is really much a movie that like anyone can watch. I think take your kids to go see Dune.
They'll be scared of the big worm, but what can you do?
I'll be honest, the big worm wasn't my big takeaway from the movie.
I was gonna say the same thing. The worm was like the worm feels like filler to me. The worm was like and I think that's just a testament to like how cool the characters are.
Honestly, the worm looked cooler in the first scene we saw it in than in the last scene we saw it in. I think
it looked good. It's just a matter of like when I think of the takeaways, I think of the characters and those emotions versus I think about the worm.
I think of the shot where Paul and his mother stand on that hill and they look at what they're looking at.
That's cool.
That is the shot that I paused the movie for a second. I went, fuck, this is something else. And then I kept watching. But Dune, 9 out of 10. Straight up 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I think I gave it a 4.5 on Letterboxd. Because it didn't like blow me away. I'm fully satisfied.
I'm not going to rewatch this movie for a while. I know I'm not going to rewatch it.
It's like I'm satisfied and like, whoa, this is a really good movie and I would recommend it to a ton of people. But I'm not going to, it's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have discourse about this movie. Because like, I don't fucking care. I like it. I really loved it.
Can we get a heavy spoilers, like 10-minute analysis video on what's going to happen in part 2?
Oh no.
Where it's like, you could
just read the book. Yeah. But yeah. Did you want to get into Patreon questions now? We can, I don't think there's any other things else to talk about. On the Patreon Discord, if you are a patron at patreon.com/TroyBoy17, one of the questions, we got a couple questions from there. Yeah. Let's skim through them really quick. Most of them are talking about Ninjago. That Patreon Discord, they just start talking about Ninjago all the time.
Really?
They want me to do it.
It's because of Zach, right?
Zach wants me to do a Ninjago commentary so fucking bad.
I'll say I watched the movie because like no one fucking watched the movie, but the Lego Ninjago movie was good.
Hey, it looked fun. It looked cool. Yeah. But our good man Tyler Goodrich has asked, what's your favorite album and why?
Ooh, you go first. What do you think?
You really gonna make me do this?
Yeah.
I think it's such a recent release, so I don't want to feel so fucking lame saying this. But the Lil
If you
Nas
see the
one,
Dune soundtrack, I'm gonna
the Dune soundtrack. But no, Montero, the Lil Nas one is fucking like, it's one of those things where it's like every single song is good, and every single song is like personal, and there's like a story and shit, and like I don't know, I just really love Lil Nas, you know, and like there's something about it. I fucking love that album. It's so fucking good. And like I know we all like to shit on MGK right now because he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. Dude's fucking crazy. I do think his most recent album, Tickets to My Downfall, is like really fucking good. Is crazy good, and like I experienced that album at the time in my life when like I needed it. Like there was the whole billionaire thing. I guess no, it was like there was a lot of stuff going on with like Twitter and like everything, and like people were viewing me as the billionaire guy, and like seeing this dude who is a weirdo. MGK's a fucking weirdo, but like,
and he's also not a great person from what I hear too. But the art does not define the artist.
He's a to me. But like seeing this guy who like was known as like the guy that like a lot of people just remember him for the Eminem stuff, and like seeing him turn around and make something that is like genuine and personal and like really high quality. Like that was like kind of like I like kind of needed that at the time and stuff. And there's just some banger tracks in there, but I think probably, and then Kids Bop, of course, all the Kids Bops.
Kids Bop. No, that's what I call Music 69.
Yeah, of course.
I don't even know what the fuck is on that. I just know that was a meme. I think my go-to, at least for the past year or so, has been Future Nostalgia, Dua Lipa. Yeah. There's something about Dua Lipa pop music where I'm like I wasn't the biggest pop music fan, right? But I listened to the radio growing up. You know, that was the thing, is when I got in the car, turned on the radio, I listened to the radio. That was my main thing of like, this is what music sounds like now. Now that's what I call music. But I don't know. When I started listening to Dua Lipa stuff, there's something genuine about her voice as well. Just beyond anything, and I'm just talking musically. I don't really know lyrics wise, but
you mean TikTok?
The stop it, oh, God. But there's something about that where I'm like, this is something genuine here. This is something I can listen to the instrumentals be fine. I can listen to the vocals be fine. And for the longest time, I would just listen to like instrumentals of music. Like, I just listened to the score for something. I wouldn't actually listen to fucking radio because I thought it was being pretentious. Yeah. But also, I just didn't like listening to lyrics and songs. And Future Nostalgia was one of the first albums where I'm like, oh, no, this is, you can do that, and I can enjoy it at the same time.
I don't think I've listened to, I need to listen to more from that. I don't, I've only
the Moonlight edition is just beautiful. Just running through it, I fucking have it downloaded. That's my main workout playlist. Other than that, there's an Indian playlist from my favorite Indian movie, Peta. That's like just a compilation of all the sound themes in that. And that's just absolutely beautiful. I run through that almost every single like month at least, and I just go through that whole thing. At some point, I will write a video essay in Tamil and do a video essay in Tamil.
That would be rad. Movie. That'd be really cool.
I want to do that so badly. I just haven't figured out the time for that. Hopefully sometime middle of next year. And then the Mission Impossible Fallout soundtrack is fucking like my motivation in the morning.
Banger.
So
of course. And then
every time I jump out in Fortnite, you play the Halo theme song. So while you're jumping
every time I jump out, I play my second favorite album is Venom by Eminem. The single.
Yeah. Last Man Standing or whatever, where he compares his
that fucking song so much worse. And the funniest thing about that, did I tell you, I feel like I told you this, they in the album for that song, there's that song, and then there's a remix of the original of the Venom song, which they just replaced the beat with like a guitar with like a heavy metal like guitar thing, and obviously it's better because that's my shit. Yeah, I'm a sucker for guitar, for rock hip hop, but like, because I'm an easily pleased man. But it's so fucking weird. It's just they just don't change anything else. They just swap out the beat for this
but then the song is still sung the same.
It's still the same. It's a little bit better because but
they had time.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good meme song, I guess. But I've like sat down and tried to listen to that song.
Did I tell you this fucking? So Olivia made a Halloween playlist that we listened to, like just in the car and shit.
Oh yeah, I think you told me something
and
about this. Yeah.
I decided as a joke, I was gonna secretly put like 10 iterations of Venom in there because this was when the movie was coming out. I put like 10 versions, like just back to back to back. And so now, but then like, and so when it shuffles, every other song is Venom. And so we've heard this song probably like 300 times since Venom 2 came out.
I'd like to think while you guys are putting up like Halloween decorations,
it's like too much.
Knock knock, look the devil.
It's like I think I can quote the song at this point.
You
now.
can.
I think I know the words, and that's a problem. It's not a good
That's
thing.
Gonna be your live stream special. That's got to be.
Listen,
your live stream special.
I said if that video got 50,000 views, and it has 9.
Not.
It has not those. I overestimated what that video was gonna do. Oh boy.
Yeah. If my video gets 50,000 views, for some fucking reason, you have to do it now.
If your video does it, and I don't get any money from it, if I don't,
you don't get any money from it.
If you have success and I have to do it, sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
sure.
Because what am I gonna do? Sing it as well? No, that's I'll be
not
racially
that's
appropriating
stupid.
a white person. That's not allowed.
So true. So true.
Exactly.
Hang on, there were other.
Yeah. Let's go through some other ones.
They keep talking about Ninjago all the time in this
fucking
Discord.
Get him one Ninjago one. Let's
just one. Zach just asked when the Ninjago commentary is. We've talked about this. It's when I'm gonna do it when I'm done with October. He knows I'm busy.
He knows the biz.
We were kind of already asked a similar question, but Zach Spooky Iron Ninja says if you could choose one Marvel and one DC character to do a crossover with them, crossover between who would it be? Yeah. I think last time I said Green Arrow and Spider-Man, but I feel like what's another one that would be really cool?
I said one that was good and I completely forgot what it was.
I think Superman needs to do something with someone. Superman and like
Well,
okay. Actually, I'm gonna repurpose Zach's question a little bit but instead of a crossover, imagine what about an amalgam? If you could pick an amalgam of two characters.
And just like slapping together.
Like how they did.
I know there was
Batman
one
Wolverine.
that was like Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate.
Yeah,
and it was kind of cool.
Yeah, so like if you could make up one of those, like with like what two characters would you want to do?
I'm trying to think. Because I can just think of power level stuff. I'm like thinking like take Thor and mix him with Batman, and then it's like a magical Batman.
Cool. Yeah.
Take
Magic Batman. Oh, dude, the Batman.
You know what happens when you mixed what's the fucking dude with the fuck, he's in Young Justice and his finger grows until they kill him or whatever. What the fuck is it?
Wait, what?
Jason Momoa. Everyone wanted Jason Momoa to play him in the DCU.
Lobo,
yeah. What happens when he mixes Lobo and Batman? It's still DC, but
you know what one of the amalgam ones was?
What?
It was Lobo and Howard the Duck. It was great. I have it somewhere.
That sounds
it's hilarious.
Amazing.
That's one of the ones I'm gonna put on the wall. It's so funny.
That sounds beautiful. I'm trying to think of other ones that like make sense, but like there would be an interesting story behind that. You know?
I think like maybe like.
If you do Spider-Man and Batman, that's just gonna be like Kane, right?
That could, yeah.
But
maybe like Black Canary and Thor could be cool. I'd love to see this, and cool. Not even a matter just her getting Mjolnir and stuff. That could be pretty rad.
Yeah.
Or like maybe her like I don't know. Like Laura and Laura Green Lantern. Laura Kinney Green Lantern would be really cool.
Yeah.
Or Laura Kinney Red Lantern. I really like.
I want to see the Question with something. I'm trying to think because Question is one of my underrated DC favorite characters. I'm trying to think of the Question in something.
Question and Rorschach.
Oh,
it's just the Question, but he's racist.
I forgot you said Rorschach because that's your go-to DC character.
Yeah, Rorschach, my go-to DC character is Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Maybe like I'm just trying to think of people that I like. Who do I like from Marvel? I like Ghost Rider. Maybe like a Batman Ghost Rider could be cool.
Batman Ghost Rider would be cool. Yeah.
I guess these aren't really amalgams. These are just DC characters getting the mantles from Marvel characters.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah. Let's make DC characters more interesting.
Or or make Marvel characters more interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Would you have to mesh Spider-Man up with someone? Who is it going to be?
I think this already happened, but Nightwing would be cool.
Yeah, but that is like the same.
It's basically the same. Yeah,
thing.
I mainly just want to see them hang out.
Yeah.
Maybe Spider-Man with like, they already did Spider-Man and Superboy, and that's a cool one.
Yeah.
There's a DC character that's cool. Fucking lots of them are cool.
Would you take the Sandman in someone? Since you said Rorschach, I'm like, what are some weird offshoot things?
Oh, like Neil Gaiman's Sandman and Marvel Sandman.
Yeah,
that would be wild because
but it's gotta be like the version from Spectacular Spider-Man where he's like, "Hey,
yeah," or like maybe like Martian Manhunter and somebody would be fun.
Yeah, that's a good. We're picking like good characters from one side, but we can't match them up with the other.
Who's like an alien from, like Martian Manhunter, like Star-Lord, or Martian Manhunter Groot. I don't fucking know. There's something you could do.
I'm trying to think of like a Rocket Raccoon mish with someone.
Yeah,
because I feel like that would be
Rocket Raccoon Crypto would be fun.
Rocket Raccoon Crypto would be really
that'd be really fun actually.
Yeah, that would be really
just
fun.
A Crypto that carries a bunch of 90s guns and has a vest. And talks.
Yeah, and it's all like arranged by like Mixed-Spittlike or something.
But he hangs on, like he chills with Superman, and that's like his Groot.
Yeah. Is it Crypto played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Oh god.
We never talked about this last
Don't get me
night,
fucking started on that movie. That movie looks.
That trailer was fucking stupid.
I was so excited for that movie. This is the same thing as What If and Ms. Marvel, where I was so beyond excited that they announced that thing, and because it's like, fuck, I love Crypto. I fucking we talked about it a little bit last week actually.
We didn't talk about it a lot. We was too focused on the thing that was really important.
But like, I was so fucking excited when they announced that, and then they're like, yeah, Dwayne Johnson. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then fucking they show that trailer and it's just like, okay, that killed
Kevin Hart as Ace the Bat Hound.
It's just so
They're pissing on statues. I'm like, this is the most generic. Is it Illumination?
Yeah, no, I don't even think so, but it looks like Illumination.
Yeah. It's just Secret Life of Pets, but even worse somehow. And I don't, I'm just upset and I'm disappointed. And why would you get Kevin Hart for Ace the Bat Hound?
Because I think their mentality is like, oh, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart have chemistry, but like not in that same way. Who the fuck goes and watches
Dwayne Hart and Kevin Hart?
Why couldn't Kevin Hart have been Streaky the Cat? That would have made way more sense.
Yeah.
Like what?
Why? Who would you get to play Bat Hound? Fucking Idris Elba. That's who I'd get to play Bat Hound.
I'd get fucking Kevin Conner to play.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or like,
that's true.
Even somebody like Benedict Cumberbatch, who like I don't love Benedict Cumberbatch, but he'd be like,
but he'll bring something to it.
I don't know. Just that movie's so disappointing. At the very least, we're gonna get Crypto merchandise, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We'll get Lego sets for that.
Oh my god, I would kill for a Crypto Lego.
We'll get Mini Mates. Doug will be so happy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to wrap it up? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I didn't. Was there any other questions?
I think there. Let me double check. We can do one more, I guess. Yeah.
Get that runtime up to 2 hours for.
The Slayer asks, do we think No Way Home will be a good movie but not a good Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's gonna be a good movie. I'm gonna be real. It gives me hardcore like Ready Player One vibes of like studio thinking that we only care about clap because thing, you know?
Yeah. You know what I think is gonna happen? I'm gonna go watch it. Toby Andrews shit's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be ecstatic.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be excited when it happens. Yeah. I'm just gonna know that it's not like still not good.
I'm gonna walk out of the theater like fucking people who walked out of the Rise of Skywalker for the first time at the red carpet and be like, oh my god, that was amazing. And then within the course of 24 hours, just completely backtrack all my statements.
This movie, I didn't want to say it because I would get canceled, but this is giving me hard Rise of Skywalker vibes.
It is. And Bailey said it and people were upset at him.
Remember the thing?
It is.
Yeah. It's yeah, I have... at the very least, I just want like Tom's stuff to be okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if the plot is bad or the script is bad or if I want two things. I want them to not fuck up the existing Spider-Man because that would suck. And I want Tom's like arc to be like solid. You know? Yeah. I want him to be okay. Those are my low ass standards.
Yeah. Originally, I was planning on doing the Homecoming video I did as a two-part. I don't even think I told you this. I was originally planning on doing the Homecoming thing as a two-parter, where one is Homecoming and the other is Far From Home, and to discuss both. But then I stopped the Far From Home thing because I was like, I'm analyzing Homecoming partly in the context of Far From Home, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like to analyze Far From Home without the context of No Way Home would treat it kind of unfairly. Because imagine if, although No Way Home, maybe we don't like it, at least it follows up accurately on what Far From Home sets up.
Hopefully,
Retroactively,
yeah.
that kind of gives us a better view of Far From Home, right? So depending on
what if this movie is like Rise of Skywalker in that it makes me fucking really like Far From Home?
Far From Home, if
I
that
don't
happens,
think so.
I don't think Far From Home did things decision wise that like just made me feel meh. Whereas
I think
Last Jedi gave people opinions.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that there's a strong possibility that this movie will just be so bad that it makes Far From Home look better, and that we're like,
Yeah.
oh, we didn't even know what we were missing. But Far From Home is still not good.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. Because it's all about the mess. Whereas with The Last Jedi, I feel like, and again, we're going through all the fucking buzzwords for people to be stupid in their comments, but I feel like with The Last Jedi, that was something where there were very striking decisions that people came out with very striking opinions. Whereas I feel like a lot of the opinions for Far From Home are kind of like, I didn't like it because of this, and then that's really it, so I'm going to complain about it kind of thing. And so if No Way Home makes me feel a certain way, I will definitely do a Far From Home video. And it will be even worse than the Homecoming video. So, but yeah. I didn't have anything else. We talked about Spider-Man a lot.
We talked about Spider-Man more than I wanted to. God damn it! I literally started this by saying, "Man, I'm too tired to talk about Spider-Man." He dragged me in like always.
At least we watched Dune, and we felt good about it.
Yeah, we watched an actual movie this time.
Yeah, and so we'll keep watching actual movies. Yeah.
But all right. Well, if that's all we had to talk about, thank you for joining us on this episode of Fanboy Talk. This has been TroyBoy17. Ghostwriter video is still waiting on commentary stuff, or copyright stuff. There was a chance I might just not do the 5th Spooktober.
Really?
We will see. I don't know. I'm very tired. 4 I think is enough, but
YouTube is kind of poopy garbage.
YouTube's been poopy garbage to me lately. I'm pretty annoyed, so I think I'm going to slow down with commentaries and do. I don't know. I'll talk to you about video essays later. I got some ideas.
Yeah, let me help you do notes.
Yeah. So. But you can check out Mithi at Film Caffeine on YouTube. He's got a new homecoming video. It's very good. You can check me out at TroyBoy17. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to our email at TroyBoy17@gmail.com or tweet them at me should we do like hashtag Fanboy Talk or hashtag Fanboy? Should we make that?
Yeah, hashtag Fanboy Talk. I think because that's how
I think Fanboy Talk is used by other people. Do Fanboy Talk questions.
No, but
Fanboy Talk podcast. Actually, or just tag the Twitter. Just tag the Twitter. We have a Twitter account. Just tag that. There we go.
You know how the copy pasta I use to like post to the tweets every single time? I just go search at Fanboy Talk on Twitter, and then it's like somewhere in like latest.
Yeah, I know some people. A lot of people use it,
but
yeah. But just if you have a question, tag us on Twitter, or if you're a patron, we will most definitely prioritize Patreon questions from now on. I think. Feel free to join Patreon at patreon.com/TroyBoy17. But with that said, thank you all for watching. I'm very hungry. I'm gonna go get some fucking dinner. But
go do that. Eat food. Go watch Dune. Watch my Spider-Man video, and Batman Fortnite.
Dune and Fortnite.
I'm gonna go play Fortnite after this too. Bye bye.